Alright, we're finally home. Guys, mom, dad, remember I gotta do the Risen stream tonight, so please don't be downloading any games or anything for the next couple of hours, otherwise stream's gonna lag and it's gonna be really awkward for everybody watching. Sweet. Thank you. Alright. Everything's ready on OBS. Time to get the boys ready, get the cast going. Looking forward to the game today. Yeah, here we go.
Hello?
What's up?
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
What's up, man?
Doing good? You guys ready? We got a cast in 10 minutes.
A cat?
Gas?
Yeah,
True.
Champs League, dude. It's quarterfinals. Supernova Maryville? Pretty good game.
I just did that for focus. I mean, I don't. What's the?
I mean, they're playing again today.
Yeah.
What league is this?
We're not on
Risen?
schedule.
Yeah, you are. You've been on schedule since the start of the season, just about.
No, isn't it like Deathstrokes and Rebel Fox today?
No, they were last week, bro.
Bro.
You're fucking with us, right?
No. Why would I do that, dude?
Dude, just take the
I wouldn't do
results from
that.
focus, dude. Like, they went 3-1. It was a cool series up until game 4. Boom. There you go. Great. Awesome. Just like literally recycle the video, use the same graphics, just throw like Risen over it, slap your logo. If you want to really do it, be like, who's this Nick guy? Just like put your name on it. Like,
I mean, I could, yeah, you know, hopefully the game's not going to end the exact same way again, but, I mean, I could do that. It was a pretty fun series to watch. I bet people would enjoy watching it again.
This guy's already level 7! What the
dude, why are you playing TFT? It's a children's chess game.
Man, this game is the only thing that relaxes me anymore. And even then, it's still hard.
You don't sound very
You're not
relaxed,
getting
bro.
that.
Alright, listen, Joe. You are not relaxing me right now because you're telling me lies! We don't have a cast today.
You do. I would never lie to you.
Don't worry, Joe. He lies to himself every day. He's like, I'm gonna hit diamond this season on TFT, lads.
Oh my god, stop pulling me! Just leave me alone,
It's
dude.
true.
Oh,
Jeez. I mean, you guys gonna be ready?
Do I have to be right? Like, do I have to get dressed or like, what's the?
I mean, ideally, you know, you're gonna be on camera on the cast, so you know.
I have to be on camera too. You're gonna tell me 5 minutes before the cast. Hey, you gotta get on cam.
Yeah.
Oh. Is there anybody else that could like fill in? Cause like honestly, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
I mean,
tonight.
I can go message Cubby, and Mark, I guess if you're not ready, I can go hit up Visions.
okay.
Get those guys on the cast.
No. Listen, Joe. I hate to burst your bubble, but Visions has got better stuff to do than help you out with a 5-minute cast that's going on. He's doing COD right now. He doesn't care about you anymore.
Yeah,
It's
he went to the
over.
shooters, little children's
yeah.
shooter game.
Listen,
I
I
don't
love
know.
Austin. He's moved on to better things now. He doesn't
That's
need
true.
you.
That's true.
You meet someone in Canada once and they change up. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, come on.
Cubby, I don't know. Dude, look, you know, no disrespect for those Cub people, but I don't know how they get Cubby on cam every time. It's a little, you know, it's a little bit much.
I don't know. He does a better job than you sometimes, Dimitri.
Oh, all right. Listen, Matthew Cubby Samuelson, otherwise known as Deadweight, is a professional amateur League of Legends caster. Okay, let's just get it 100% correct.
I don't know. I don't know. He was a coach. He was Grandmasters. That's
Coach,
why
by the way. You
Coach,
can ask
by the
hypertension
way.
about Coach Meme. You can ask Hyper about the Coach Meme. Grandmasters.
Oh,
better than
no.
Blake Hogma. Let's just put it like that.
Oh, there's the game invite.
Bro, there's not even any 5-star prospects in the game, dude. I don't even care. Like,
Hey, APA's pretty good. I know it's four stars, but
4-star, by the way.
you know,
Let's
it's-
just put the crab
who's
meme. where he's
playing
like,
again, Joe? Who's playing?
Supernova and Maryville.
Wait, Dimitri just casted that game like on Wednesday.
I
Why
know,
are we-
I just
Yeah.
said that. Well, thank you for
I
paying
mean-
attention.
Okay. bro, I'm like my mind is.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
Team
focused.
Yeah,
Fight
yeah.
Tactics.
Just
Right.
Wrong you know, you're playing Team Fight Tactics, wrong TFT to be worrying about.
Yeah, they're playing today too.
Bro, how are there only tiers on this carousel? Where's my rods?
Alright.
Ace. It's a goddamn ace, dude. Ah!
Joe,
All
Joe,
right.
is there no way that we can like just have vote for chat? Just like do the Travie Bucks thing?
I mean, I could do something, but so we got the focus results this week, right?
Yeah.
I'll go look for a Maryville victory over Supernova, and then I could I could put the vote up, and then depending on the result of the vote, I'll just show them whatever game happened before.
Okay. I mean,
Do like that because if you really can't do it right now.
you know what, Joe? For you, I'll make it happen. I'll go get ready, but just like tell chat some stupid excuse, like just be like, producer gap. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I need 5 minutes for my
bad.
internet.
My
It's
bad.
How did I lose that? Oh my god.
Mark, are you gonna be ready in 5 minutes?
Yeah, it's an ace.
Yes,
I'll
it's
be
an
ready.
eighth. It's an eighth. Oh no.
I just need a couple minutes so I can recover from my post eighth depression.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll let the teams know. They'll be okay to wait. I hope.
All right. I'll go get ready.
Thank you.
Alright,
Much
I'll be
appreciated.
ready in a bit, Joe. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Champions League here on Risen Esports. My name is Mark. Oh my goodness! Wait! I had a little bit of audio feedback loop in my head, so it really me up there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a sip right now.
We didn't even start drinking yet. We didn't even start drinking. Oh
No. It's time. Let us get into draft, ladies and gentlemen. We have been holding up the crew here. Let's run those intros back here, Dimitri. My name is Mark Rafa Alexander Arambide. My co-caster, as always, Dimitri Alt Battery Toledo. We were unexpectedly not ready for Supernova Maryville Esports, but thankfully we got everything all together. We don't have a graphic for our usual drinking game here on Risen Champions, but we will let you know whenever there's a sip that needs to be taken. We'll let you know. So you got your brewskis out, you got your wine, and of course, if you are not of legal drinking age, you can still participate. Just drink responsibly for those that are, as we are flying through the draft here, Alt Battery.
Yeah, I mean, some pretty typical bands. Now, for everyone that's been keeping up on the Scouting Ground circuit, we already saw this matchup actually go 3-1 in favor of Supernova over at Focus in their Champ Series. So, man, I'm ready to see what exactly happens, because there's a lot of games where Gangplank was left open, and even though Maryville was finding some advantages, they were really being let down by their star top laner Niles.
Syndra gonna be the last ban from Maryville University, as Supernova look for their last option to take away, as Maryville University do have a few options as an optimal blind pick, but I do want everyone to know it's an ASOL ban. It's already a sip, boys.
Yeah, we were, Rafa was like, guys, we should have a sip for every time ASOL gets banned, and I'm like, okay, we're sipping all draft then. The entire draft, every single time.
You never know. MU might leave up the dragon in one of the later games. We'll have to see. Now, Karma being the flex pick of choice that they're going to take away. We've seen that champion in top lane, the mid lane support. It's very flexible. I would want to see it in jungle. I wonder if the jungle Karma.
Karma?
Yeah, come on, man.
Sure. I mean, you can go ahead and queue up a game if you want. Sitting at gold 5 elo, I'm sure it'll be fun in a normal game. But coming out from Maryville, talk about the picks here. Graves has been one of their most impactful just first picks every single time, whether it be on red or blue side. These guys heavily prioritize the champion. I do question some of their ability to kind of play around it in certain cases, but this seems to be in absolute favor of them, so nothing out of the ordinary. And Ashe, we've seen, has taken a huge rise in pick rate over the last patch, so interesting to note what exactly Maryville have prepared up against it. It seems like Jhin in a hovered. My heart.
I was about to ask you, Dimitri, what are some
tale as old as time classic counter picks to the Ash. I don't remember if Jin was one of them, but you are the ADC expert, so I'll have to rely on you if it comes down to deciphering a number 4 pick here for MU. But nah, we're gonna go with the Ezreal, the poster boy.
Yeah, I'm so sad, man. There's no creativity. I was expecting maybe Maryville would come up with something different, but Supernova have actually been doing really well playing around Evan RL recently, and not even having to wait for his typical power spike of, hey, let's get a bunch of items. Seem to actually look really, really well kind of oriented. Maryville, however, I wonder exactly what they're going to pick. They're going to go right back into this matchup we actually saw over in Game 3 last week, and it did not look fantastic. They were role swapped, so the Volibear was sitting topside, and PCL was on the Ornn. And man, I don't know if maybe it was it was a little bit of the not Niles 1v9, but getting solo killed in that lane as Ornn was really rough to watch for Maryville. So interested to see what exactly comes through on bans, and so far Maryville's composition is still kind of flexible in what they want to do.
Now, you did cast the Maryville Supernova game over on Focused last week. Now, how do you feel about Maryville locking in the Ornn for Niles? Because I think you were pretty vocal that you want Niles on more aggressive champions that have a little bit more agency in the early.
If it was the Niles we had about 2 months ago, I would say yes. Right now, I want to see Niles play a laning phase and not put his team at like a specific deficit. It has been really rough to watch this Maryville squad continue to kind of slip through a lot of SGC, specifically because of their top laner kind of opening them up to a lot of vulnerabilities. So Ornn, I think, is perfectly fine. It gets right through the laning phase. Volibear should be able to punish it in certain cases, but man, I'm not.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Yo, all right. So I'm getting some. I'm
Give
getting.
it to me,
Come on. All right. So before this game, I got a chance to speak with EA, aka Always Plan Ahead. He talked about a potential mid lane pick that he has been saving, and he says and promises to deliver in this series. And he says, now he's kind of taunting Maryville University in chat. It's shaping up to the angle. And if you guys don't know already about the mid lane pick, let me put it this way. Always Plan Ahead specializes on champions that have the ability to shove
is this what we were
and
practicing
roam.
Yesterday?
Yes. He told me that he is practicing this pick. I know that. Okay, we have a Bard being locked in for Shady. We have a lot to talk about Bard right now in LCK that has become a huge power pick in the support role. But please, Ian, please, my dude. Oh no! He says my team is cringe. They won't let. Oh no! I wanted the new angle.
Okay, no, wait. We hide the pick. We don't know. You gotta whatever. Leaking strats, rough R&B day, but. The Galio, it is not something, it's something we would have seen from Ian, a couple of months, maybe like a few weeks ago, and this is, I think, a nice return to form. I'd be interested to see his performance on this, but I do want to touch on that Bard. Maryville do have a little bit of a weirder composition. I think, obviously, on 2 items, this team looks absolutely scary. A lot of their members do not interact with Supernova's composition incredibly well, and that's exactly what I'm afraid for. I'm really sad, honestly. I'm heartbroken that we don't get to see the new mid lane, especially after what we did to Joshi last night on the Jace mid. It was really disgusting to watch. But, Maryville's composition, they still have a lot of lane priority when it comes to moving throughout the river, so Grace should look fine. I am scared to see what the Supernova composition looks like once we get to the later game.
He's taunting them. Look, he's covering it. He's flashing it. I know you guys can't see it on screen, but APA is flashing the Nunu while we're getting ready through the client draft. But we already locked in the Galio in the pro draft. You can't pick the Nunu. Maybe next game. But
that's so sad.
Oh, I think I was really excited for it, but I understand.
Angle. Yeah, get the new angle.
Yeah, we gotta get the Nunu angle. I do want to point out here as we're looking overall at the compositions. You touched a little bit about how powerful this Bard pick is, and just not only gives you a lot of agency in lane, it doesn't rarely has any losing matchups, but also when paired with an Ezreal, the Bard just has free roam to be able to go around the entire rift, drop some emergency health packs for Wolfie in the mid lane, even if he wants to go to Niles in the top lane, set up a gank, trifecta with Iconic as well, or just being able to assist Iconic in the early invades if they want to be able to get a head start over on Odd Orange. Now, when you look at Supernova's composition here, Dimitri, what I want to ask is, does this team have what it takes to be able to contest the side of Maryville University in that early game?
So I'd have to watch exactly how mid lane kind of goes. I am a little bit afraid, especially for how Maryville like to play. Like you were saying, giving Bard a free lane to just leave whenever he wants definitely plays into his strengths. Shady, someone who constantly is looking to push out of mid lane or bot lane, sorry, and immediately move into the jungle, specifically in that bot side. With Iconic, it'll be really hard for someone like Kindred, especially pre-6, to get any kind of river control past first two scuttles. And I'm expecting for these early Drakes to go over in favor of Maryville. Rift Herald, much more of a slippier situation, considering PCL and Niles is actually a lot more volatile than maybe a lot of people would expect. And I'm expecting this early game to be in favor of Maryville. They do have some nice scaling options, but again, Galio, a really fantastic option, and Ashe and Kindred do fantastic into this team comp for Maryville.
I think one other point that we should address here, Dimitri, and I think it's interesting to keep note of as not we just look at this game in isolation, but also as the series progresses overall. At the beginning of the season, Niles was showing off his usual performance, but as of recently, we talk about it a lot, he's been on a downward trend in terms of performance, and we're not expecting the same carry like performances, the clutch factor he used to be. Whereas PCL started off, he's always been a consistent top laner, but at the beginning of the season he had some really what you gonna
I mean, consistent's a word. If I mean it's consistent, okay. Something's happening in this lane consistently.
So
I will agree. I will agree.
Well, so no, I'm talking about the past. But at the beginning of the season, what I basically am trying to get to is that now started off high and now is on a downward trend. PCL started off low and now he's recently on more of an upward trend. He's finally putting in the types of games that you would want to see peak PCL in prior seasons and years. So when you have this opposing trend formation between the two top laners, you would naturally expect that PCL should have a better time just based on recency bias. But I think, and I'm putting a lot of faith in Niles here to be able to come back, because I know that Maryville University have dropped out of Cup, they've dropped out of Big. Risen is now one of the last leagues that they are in now. If my memory
serves
correctly.
They've got losers bracket in focus. They've got losers.
Okay, so they got losers bracket in focus as well,
and LWL.
Right? And LWL. So they're running out of options to be able to earn qualifier points. So yep. I'm really, because when we look in prior seasons overall, Niles was one of the big rocks of foundation that you could reliably look towards to always carry a game. And recently that's not been the case. So, Niles, is this the day that you remind us how amazing of a top laner you are? And that's what we'll be looking forward to as we get ready for game after this quick break.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're finally on the rift for Game 1 between Supernova and Maryville University. And taking a look across the lineup here, I don't see any particularly very weird keystones. But Ogbatter, you were saying something about one particular one in the while we were off camera.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of pick your brain on this. Iconic
brain?
has been seen. Yes, of course, Jungle Big Brain. Iconic has been, you know, obviously for Maryville, first picking Graves, looking for Graves in almost every single matchup, almost permanently blind against whoever he is. More than likely he goes the phase rush, but I've been seeing sometimes he picks up the fleet forward. Do you think that there's any particular reason to this?
Well, from my experience, phase rush is just really universal because you get to use it to either close in on someone after expending your full burst on them, or being able to get the out really quickly after you expend your full burst on someone. So what this says to me, if he's running fleet of footwork, then he wants the extra sustain throughout the jungle, as he wants to be also able to have that extra sustain once he goes up against
Niall!
orange. So, and usually when you see fleet, you see more of a late game scaling build. So the Death Stand, Black Cleaver, Wade, they're just tugging at each other, toe to toe. That's a lot of damage that Niles just takes up front, and I don't know if he's gonna be pretty content with the early laning phase.
Yeah, that was a really nice trade. He thankfully doesn't lose any experience, but that was an awful trade right there, because not only does he was about to get pushed out of the lane and was going to try and take maybe the long way around, would have been supremely screwed, but knowing PCL, he's going to early tick into level 2 here, and that stun from Volibear is really dangerous to deal with. That's a trade.
Yeah, don't worry about the direct-to-camera. They don't know what it all is about. So let's take a look at the jungle's current path, because right now Iconic is en route to potentially get a gank down onto PCL, whereas Iconic, he's still on the bottom side of the jungle, so he's having to contest against a pushed-up lane, which means that it's going to be hard for him to make anything happen unless he is able to get the setup that he requires. Actually, he's gonna... We have orange pathing towards the top side at the moment, but there's some vision going down from Wolfie, and it's gonna spot out odd orange.
Yeah, really nice job right there. Should be able to clear it out here. We'll even take a look earlier on a little bit there. Shady takes a moment to leave the lane, puts a blue ward, as we see right in front of the Gromp. Should know that he's going topside. And praise be to the Lord, odd orange, he gets the blessing, and the wolf mark is on the top side. So we'll be able to get himself a stack, start, you know, getting to that point where Kindred gets that range increase and start looking really powerful. And now take a look at this. I mean, Niles is in such a dangerous lane spot now, because if he wants PCL, it seems like he's just going to constantly shove this wave and potentially even force Niles to TP early on.
I mean, does Volibear really have an option when it comes to freezing or pushing just based on his
bro,
path?
just don't use your passive, Smile. Just hit him with the... Oh, no passive.
but
Turn it
off.
stacked up. Just turn it off. Like a light switch, just go click. Any Book of Mormoners in chat? Okay, well, that's probably well, there has been a lot of vision that has been placed by Shady in Odd Orange's bottom side jungle, so this does give a lot of information iconic within the next minute, as that's when the next camps should be spawning here for the side of Supernova. Iconic is already pathing towards the bottom side, and we see the first Kindred mark spawning on Iconic's Raptor. So, but with Odd Orange over on the other side of the map, you know that it's gonna be gone.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh, apparently. That's exactly what happens. And the really great thing here for Iconic is he actually did a full clear of his jungle. He was able to invade a little bit on top side, got himself the scuttle, got the scuttle on bot side, got some vision in that bot side, and now gets to come back to all of his camps being not only respawned, but also having increased value. So really great job there for Iconic. He's gonna get, he's gonna feel nice for the next couple of minutes in this game. Cloud Drake is our first, and you take a look at the lanes. Bot lane for Maryville has had supreme control and just constantly shoving. Meanwhile, Wolf has had a little bit of a harder time trying to force APA to fall back, so might see a potential early Drake going over in favor of Supernova.
They definitely have the push ready for it, but Iconic is on the other side of the map. So, and as we see Evan RL and Clyde going for a shove, Evan is sitting on quite an amount of money. He has a BF sword purchase available for him if he wants to take this back right now, whereas Value is sitting on a similar amount of gold. If you have 1,300 on Ezreal, what are you buying, baby?
It depends on who he wants to go here. He is up against Ashe and Nautilus, so probably won't be able to match the upfront loaded damage of their composition right now. If he wants, he can just hit the tier and get a pickaxe afterwards. Most Ezreals are going pickaxe. There is an argument that potentially he even picks up Sheen, but that's incredibly greedy. I don't think they're going to back for a pretty long while. Already we're seeing Evan hit the first back. He gets his longsword and boots. Going to be looking nice as both junglers are now bot side. We see a couple of pings, skirmishes going across.
That's really interesting that Evan RL doesn't go for the BF sword purchase, but you tell me if that's. Oh, wait a minute. We got some action on the top side of the map, and it's just done. It's that easy. PCL, baby. Goes in for the dive, wreckers the turret, and Niles is out.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this, just a little bit of a, insider caster knowledge. Just like, all right, well, when does a fight or like a little skirmish actually turn into a real one? And I mean, we're seeing right there, Niles takes too much of that damage from PCL. The passive that we wanted turned off ends up turning up the heat a little bit, and that Frenzied Maw is nothing to joke about. So the wound stacks especially become incredibly dangerous for someone like Warren. So no TP available. He's going to be able to shove one more wave in. The wave will now meet back in the middle, and I actually want to take a look at that wave real quick for any stacked minions though. So it is a cannon minion. Should sit in the middle, but it seems that the minions actually met a little bit earlier for Supernova side, so it should help push out towards PCL. And honestly, great job from Supernova, and about what I expect coming out from the Maryville matchup right now.
And you know what's really surprising, or not surprising, but it's very dangerous here for Niles, is that he's built the Bramble Vests, and he's got health, so he's already itemized a bit of armor. But if you look at High Cake Lord and see what he's maxing, he's got that Sky Splitter at the 3rd point rank, so which has a high amount of base magic damage. Oh, wait a minute. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, we got some action coming down, and Iconic is here for the gank. Gets some 6-gauge, 12-gauge shotgun shells into the face of MNRL. Doesn't even bother burning the flash because he knows that there's no way out of that situation, and that's a pick-up kill here for the Maryville University jungle.
Yeah, and Value, take a look at some of what they invested into that, right? They've got the tier, they've got themselves the pickaxe. Iconic is incredibly strong as Clyde now looking to punish.
Well, we got the Bard ultimate coming in. They might try to collapse. I don't think there's much really to cast in that situation. Iconic got a little greedy, said, hey, I killed the bot laner. That means it's a free blue buff, right? Nope. Take blue. No, you don't take blue. It doesn't belong to you, brother. We're not at that point of the game yet.
But come on, Rafa, sharing is caring. Odd Orange, be willing to share your blue buff, brother. Here's the thing, though. There was a lot that actually ended up happening, and a lot of ultimates that ended up being used right there. Evan RL uses the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. I don't think it'll be too impactful for that bot fight, but APA no longer has that Galley ultimate, and we take a look because of that play. Not only do they see a couple more kills going over in favor of Supernova, but also again able to get themselves the Rift Herald as Clyde's already here, but top and jungle for Maryville looking to fight.
They still have the Lamb's Respite. It's going to be popping in.
Oh,
Nal's going to get a chance to use the palm. The Forge God for the knockup. Ford gets so low. Odd Orange will finally go down as Iconic is able to get the shotgun shell one last time. But Pie Cake Lord is a massive demigod bear as he looks to get one more Frenzy Maul in before Niles does flash over the wall to safety.
Man, I love Stormbringer. Such a beautiful ability.
It's
But
really cool.
Sadly, yeah, it is pretty cool. I will say, looks nice. Every single Volibear skin looks super dope when it happens. And, I mean, they go 1-for-1, but still an overall great trade for the side of Maryville. It does cost Niles his flash, and in a laning phase where he's already really behind, it's going to hurt. Now, APA should be able to get out of this. We'll have to invest his flash into it, but you know, if Supernova are thinking about it, you still have 50 seconds on this dragon to be spawning. You get all of your resets right now, and you're going to be incredibly ahead of the curve when it comes to trying to fight for this objective.
And the next dragon should be spawning in the next minute, I believe. In fact, it's 30 seconds to be exact. Pie Cake Lord, not half health, but if he gets one more Frenzy Maul onto Niles, it's going to sustain right back up to full as Shady was looking for a Tempered Fate, but unfortunately it's a little field goal as it goes wide. Evan RL and Clyde are able to sidestep it as this next dragon, which is an Inferno, will be coming up.
Oh no, Niles.
He has lured him right into the bear trap. Niles is going to be able to, however, disengage. Thankfully, Pie Cake Lord does not have access to Stormbreaker, so he cannot really pursue for an all-in quite yet. But notice that both him and Niles do have teleports. I would imagine if... Actually, you know what? I'm going to take it back, because Odd Orange is already pathing over to the top side on the map. Yeah. This is all Maryville University's dragon to take.
Yeah, and I love this coming out from them, specifically from Supernova. Hey, we're going to be willing to trade this. Evan RL has been kind of just slam-pushed every single wave. Shady has actually not really had time to roam, even though most of his lane has been shoving into the enemy turret for Supernova. So I think pretty intelligent from the side of Maryville. They immediately move over, and they're able to get themselves a reset for their bot side. So not only does Value have his Manamune, who's been stacked, but he's able to finally pick up the Sheen. So this Ezreal is going to start spiking when it comes to damage. Seems like Odd Orange and the squad for Supernova, they want to make some plays topside. They want to force TP out of Niles, or potentially even get him to see the turret and look to try and pressure onto this mid lane. Finally grab themselves the Rift Herald, but the entirety of Maryville, they're ready to answer this.
I mean, so is Supernova as well. Everyone is here for the party, but Niles is currently stuck under his tower on farm duty, so he's not going to be able to lend his Call of the Forge God quite yet. And if Maryville University don't make a move, this Rift Herald will be
really
burned
slowly.
down.
They might be looking to turn.
Well, Supernova might be looking for a bait. Maybe this is what they want to look for after all. Looking across the board, it doesn't seem like they have the item power spikes they need, but, well, let the fight's on, ladies and gentlemen, and Value's going to be able to pick up the first one. Shady's going to fall over to Clyde, but we got a bunch of burst damage coming in for Wolfie, but it's not going to be enough as the rest of Supernova are still living alive. And unfortunately for Maryville University, we're trying to secure that Rift Herald, but it resets the full health. It's going to stall their ability to take it, but it doesn't look like that Supernova have the means to be able to contest it anyway. But as I say that, they are
coming in behind.
They're approaching. They have a teleport coming in somewhere. Wait. Oh, Pie Cake Lord! Oh my God! The bear's so powerful. He's so terrifying.
What?
What is that, Dimitri? Can we chunk for that? Just the fact that was like the weirdest fight ever. Where let's chunk to that. Please.
Yeah, I'll check to that one. The one point I wanted to take a note as PCO kind of getting pushed out of topside is Wolfie. I don't know what exactly happened on this LeBlanc, but he went super hard missing in this fight. The chain goes wide, doesn't land onto Evan. Evan still has flash in this fight, surprisingly enough, and Maryville, I was going to say, was looking really strong. Value was absolutely godlike in his positioning, at least in that fight for this Ezreal, doing a fantastic job of outputting as much damage as possible. But, I mean, the ultimate from Niles went a little bit wide. The fight started off really weird, and specifically, I think Odd Orange had some big question marks on him, but they're able to finally crack it open, get themselves this Rift Herald, this Shady, fantastic temper, but still lands. Oh my god.
Oh, Shady! I've seen so many times, not from Shady, by the way, but from many NA bards, they try to get the Tempered Fate onto the turret to protect it from the crash, but they always either do it a few seconds too early or a few seconds too late. I have not seen
It's like
a bard...
Zonia's timing. It's like Zonia's
It
timing.
is!
Some people just don't got it. They just don't have it.
Aw, well, that's a damn shame. You know, maybe they have to take it to the practice tool and run it by a couple more times. Just have someone, you know, get the Rift Herald and then try and make attempts to save it. But that does open up the map further in Supernova's control, and that does lead to some problems here for Maryville University, especially when you have a jungler like Graves who relies on farming a majority of his camps as they get through this mid game.
Yeah, for sure. The great thing for him, you know, that he does have really great lanes that collapse pretty fast if need be. Ezreal and Bard obviously notoriously mobile, and Niles as well has a pretty long range ability. I'll hold that as Wolfie. I want to say goodbye as he's fine. You know, Chains of Corruption, they just hold him back to okay, relax, please. The worst of this whole trade for this mid turret here, obviously in favor of Supernova, is Wolfie gets so hard stunted in his ability to look for roams and go across the map. Obviously now APA has a bunch of priority in mid lane. He can look to those side lanes and, like you were saying, invade in jungle and now put pressure on Iconic with Odd Orange.
We have Clive and Nevernarl currently trying to contest some vision on the bottom side of the map, but thankfully Iconic is here to protect that vision for Maryville University. Clive will have to retreat for now. The next dragon is up on the table in the next 25 seconds. Teleport is up for Niles. It is not up for Piecake Lord, so we already see him making the roam down Tau. He's walking fast to take this pass in. I mean, Dimitri, if you want to sing the rest of the lyrics with me, you're more than welcome.
Oh my god, I'm hard blanking on this. And we see, and just like that, similar to how I'm hard blanking, Niles would do hard commit to TP. I thought it was really weird. He has a whole wave sitting up top lane. Maybe he wants to just sit up here. He's obviously going to try and get some setup as Supernova trying to look for something onto Wolfie, but inside track for Dragon is started here for the side of Maryville.
Dragon about 3.5k HP. Iconic still over there. Clyde tries to make the engagement happen. Always plant. Oh, APA have the smite from the unsealed spellbook. He's able to secure it here for Supernova, and the Lancer spike comes down. Niles is getting critically low, and he's not going to be able to burst down the rest of the targets, but the rest of the members of Maryville University, they're pretty healthy, and they're going to go forward with the charge. They launch all their damage into the front line of Supernova, and they're running them down. Beautiful taunt over the walls, gonna stun up Iconic for a quick second, but it's not enough, and is just that easy, ladies and gentlemen. Maryville University do not get the dragon, but they pick up 4 kills to boot.
Yeah, really great job, and I hate to break it to you, APA, he did not have the smite, he had the exhaust, and I mean, honestly...
No, he secured it.
Yeah, he got it, but he didn't have smite.
Did he not?
Did not have smite.
Oh,
no, he just nat 20'd. He rolled. You know, he rolled the dice and got the critical strike right there. But getting themselves a Mountain Drake is, you know, I feel the same way. Honestly, if your jungler is there, but I think Supernova played that incredibly sloppily. They were looking for a pick onto Wolfie, and then they said, okay, that's fine. They allowed for Evan to kind of pick that up, and then we just see that Maryville just kind of walk into the fight. They're in a really awkward position where, again, they didn't even walk into their jungle. Ended up they obviously overextend and try to find more kills onto Supernova, as Supernova are found retreating back towards their base. So even though they picked themselves up a dragon, great kills not only going towards Maryville, but Iconic is starting to pick up a lot of steam in this matchup.
And looking over at Iconic in particular, before that fight, you know, he was even in gold with Odd Orange, but now he has surged upwards of about 1,500 gold for himself. He already has gold. Hey, come on, man! It wasn't planned. Next time I'll say he has risen to a 1,500.
There you go. We must be on Risen Twitch.tv/Risen.
Yeah, anyone watching this, make sure you are following twitch.tv/Risen_esports. Check out Rando Joe also on his Twitch stream as well. Fantastic producer, by the way. Very, very, very lovable guy.
Producer gap. It's always
yeah,
producer gap.
It is a producer gap. Did you see his house at the beginning of the stream? It's amazing.
Is that his house?
Yeah, Joe, when are you gonna invite us to your house? Oh, Crystal Enchanted Arrow goes wide, but it was a
It went
zoning
about
arrow.
as missing as our invitation. That's all I'm gonna say.
Damn, that's
As
great.
we're gonna start this up, take a look at positioning right now. No one's really available. Evan RL setting up. Arnold.
Call of the Force God, looking for it. Temper Fate kind of goes at the same time as Call of the Force God, so maybe it was a little mistimed, but now the yeah, well, it just ends like that. Supernova saying, you know what, fine, we're sorry for trying to take away the Rift Herald, we're just gonna give it up, and Maryville University say, okay, we'll take this trade.
Yeah, and perfect timing right there. Obviously, that was... They're going to be able to get 2 turrets off of this. And some of the resets were even kind of reset right there. So it seems like Maryville, they're going to take a little bit on the safer side. They're not going to overextend for another turret. They will be able to get that second charge in. I want to take a look at health real quick. Yeah, it won't fall down, but they will just cannibalize all of Odd Orange jungle, which is a surprisingly good matchup for them. Iconic typically is a jungler. When I've seen him, obviously get ahead, tends to push his leads in a lot better fashion than Odd Orange has so far. Odd Orange has been performing pretty well throughout all the scouting rounds, but Iconic is definitely someone who's willing and able to really push the tempo of this game. I want to talk about Maryville's composition now that we have a little bit of time before some of these objectives, 1 minute before Dragon specifically. Ezreal is so powerful, uncontested in a lot of these fights, and even though Maryville are looking strong in certain cases, you take a look across the board, they're getting a lot of really great items. PCL is about to finish what I assume is going to be a Dead Man's Plate, but even then, Evan RL has not finished his Rune-Ons and has a really hard time trying to position. He does have his Summoners available, so I want to watch where Evan is and in comparison to how Value is playing Ezreal. Why? Why are we doing this? Like,
Oh!
why did you walk in? Why did you walk in? You saw me walk in.
It's a
Beautiful.
vision gap. It's a
It's-
vision gap.
It's visions, I guess. It's all about the visions.
Switch up the visions, ladies and gentlemen. Shout outs to those who remember the show. Anyway, unfortunately for Iconic, sitting on a majority of the gold lead for his team does get picked off by the Fnatic Deathbrush being employed beautifully by Supernova. So it does give them some time to be able to get ready for this next dragon, and it puts them at soul point for Mountain Soul. And we all know how powerful it would have been on Niles had Maryville University secured it. Oh, at True Shot Barrage, a little too early, unfortunately. But now with that soul point for Supernova, just imagine. Here, Dimitri, let me paint a picture for you.
All right,
You have,
I'm closing my eyes.
yeah. You have a 2-ton bear.
Mm.
It has powers of Thor, Zeus, Jupiter, whatever you want to call him,
Okay.
all combined into one. He's got the claws and the teeth the size of giant icicles.
And he's a cop.
Yeah, and no, we're not gonna get into politics.
Whoa.
It's a giant bear, 2-ton bear.
Okay.
He's got giant fangs, giant claws. He's got electrical powers. You know, he's a god, literally, and he's running at you directly.
Yes.
He's looking to eat you alive, and you try to kill him, but you can't because he's too tanky, dude.
Okay.
How do you feel about that situation?
I feel really bad. But I mean, to be fair, right? Like we were taking a look at this PCL versus Niles matchup. It set it up as, hey, both of these guys are volatile. They're willing to fight in lane. We even saw PCL get the early advantage, but nothing has really come of it. And honestly, Supernova have not really been able to play around. I'll hold that as they find and engage on the Clyde.
Well, Clyde is going to be able to get out. I don't know if we can say the same about Evan RL and On Orange. They pop the Lance for Spike, but the Call of the Forge God knockup will be there to secure kills for Value as he dashes in with the Arcane Ship. And just like that, Maryville University continue the charge into Supernova's base after taking the tier 2. But there is an option now to pivot over towards this Baron buff, Dimitri.
Yeah, they can go for it. They no longer have. They know that the Kindred Flash is down. They were also able to get the Galio ultimate, and now we see APA. He has the Smite and has the Flash available to him. He's level 13. He can look to contest. As blue turrets are going down, Volibear is gonna stay. So I think they might just go for a legendary steal here as Wolfie behind enemy lines.
Always plan ahead. Has Smite this time, and he has Flash. If they can get
Vision
down, come on, APA, you got it. There's a blue trinket on the 2K health. APA, he's eyeing it. Eyes on the prize, baby. They go in. He goes. He gets it. Wow! no! IPA! He doesn't get to play the Nunu this game, but he steals the Baron for Supernova. They even pick up potentially a kill. No, I take that back. AP is gonna go down. Auto Orange is gonna go down as well. But Pie Cake Lord, just get the hell out of there, brother. You got the Baron buff. You don't need to give your life away. Your life is precious. And just like that, he's dead. It's only Evan RL and Clyde. But thankfully, they have the Baron buff, and it's not Maryville University.
You know, I was gonna say, every game when it comes down to Maryville, everyone's looking at Niles, looking at Captain America, but everyone forgets, you know, the supporting cast of the Avengers are there to assemble, and Value did a fantastic job in that yet again. I think Wolfie had another step-up performance, and while that Baron was taken by the side of Supernova, the kind of escape from the Baron pit was incredibly sloppy from their side. Specifically, obviously, Kindred getting taken down once again, and PCL not having a great time sticking onto Value. You know, props to them for stealing it. It will prolong the game for another few minutes, about 5 or 10, as we're waiting for another dragon, but they need to fight for this Mountain Soul, as their team, specifically LeBlanc, has a hard time trying to deal with Mountain Soul Shield. It is really sad to see.
I'm still processing the Baron steal, to be quite honest.
I mean, he just pressed Might. You press a single summoner spell easy.
Yeah, but they didn't have respect for the 50-50. They... Come on, man, that's
Oh,
Evan
why?
RL was fishing for an arrow. Come on.
Wait, why are we fishing for an arrow versus LeBlanc of all people? He's a champion. I'll hold that as a temper fate gets pulled out. Taunt lands.
Yeah, they tempered Pie Cake Lord's fate for quite a bit, but they prevent Niles from being able to do Call of the Forge God. He was stunned for an eternity, but Lance Respite is going to give them a saving grace here, as all of the members of Supernova are pretty damn low. Oh no! Supernova, even with the Baron buff, just do not have the combat set to be able to fight against the members of Maryville University. And Mr. Battery, is this happening? Are we live? Is Maryville University, are they on the brink of taking a game off the Supernova? And not to say that they didn't take a game off the Supernova last week, but still, this is such a strong start for them in this series, and it's very promising, and going forward to what we wanted to see from MU at the beginning of the draft.
Dude, I feel like I'm you know those calendars for Christmas and stuff where they like you open every door and it's chocolate, just full of value. This game is full of value at this point. It's literally just a full value as we see the TP coming in from APA, Dragon stolen.
No, well, quite stolen. Iconic to secure it. Oh, damn. Well, you can't save everyone, Niles. Someone has got to be the sacrificial lamb, and in this case, it is a very big lamb, or actually, it's more like a goat, right? Or it's a ram. No, it is a sheep. It is a lamb. Oh, yeah. Iconic. Why?
Iconic again?
Man.
Oh my god.
You
Alright, Iconic. You're gonna be on jail from sitting in bot side jungle. For some reason, we have a problem with this. Bot side jungle is just not the place for you this game, or at least this series. As
there seems to be a correlation with people thinking that something belongs to them when it clearly doesn't. At least in that moment. And
okay, what about Baron? What about the Baron steal? What do you think about a proper ownership right? What do we think about title rights for Baron?
Up until APA stole it, it belonged to Iconic, and then APA, it was his property afterwards.
he just took it, bro. He's like, this is mine now. He hit him with the you know the Bugs Bunny one where he's just like, this is our Baron. This is my Baron. This is our Baron.
Yeah, APA taking a communistic approach towards objective sharing this game. So
I thought we weren't getting into politics. So you can make the communist reference. I can't say like Volibear has the cop skin.
Hey, it's just because certain things have
fallen into the river in Crime City. You know, getting us back on track. We're 30 minutes in, and Maryville have definitely taken themselves in the lead. Now, yes, they have, you know, they've experienced some hiccups in closing out this game, but still, take a look at the members, specifically Wolfie and Value. I've been obviously hyping up, we've been hyping up this Ezreal throughout the entire game has been unanswered. Evan RL on this Ashe has not been inspiring as Niles yet again. Let's see if the ultimate even lands this time. No!
He got
That's a hitbox. What?
Oh, and it was, well, he got now Temper Fate is going to come in. Niles will take one last breath before getting munched alive by a very angry electrifying bear. Am I saying
Wait,
electric?
what are they doing? Wait, they're trading. Okay, Auto Orange, cool, you got the Krugs. I don't even know what level those Krugs are, but sure, Maryville are just going to take this free top inhibitor. They're even able to stop Evan. No.
Oh, shady, beautiful stalling tactics here. It's going to buy Maryville University some more time as they do not secure the inhibitor, but being able to take the inhibitor turret is definitely a worthy trade. It opens up the base even further. And we haven't even talked much about the gold lead, but because we're at 30 minutes into the game, a 4,000 gold lead, yes, being in Maryville University's favor, getting to the point if Supernova just happened to wipe out Maryville University, although they have not been able to within the past few fights, death timers are long enough where they can take some serious damage against this base.
Why are we resetting so many objectives this game? Rift Herald, red buff. I hope we don't see a Baron reset at any given point, but I do agree, right? Like, death timers are long enough that I think if Supernova are able to kill them, the issue is that there is a lot of turrets. Thankfully, they're only tier 2s, and I would think that someone like Evan, especially with how much attack speed he's going to have, will be able to kind of quickly clear through most of these objectives and most of these standing turrets. I'm taking a look, obviously, with how many pushed lanes there are for the side of Supernova. They're able to collect a lot of gold, and someone like Evan, I mean, sure, he's down 60 CS right now, and all that free gold is getting funneled into him, but there's still 3,000 gold deficit there for him. And Futures Market is making up a lot of the gold here for APA. They are within 400, and he does have some Futures Market debt for himself, but taking a look, Supernova have not really been able to push this lead that PCL has gone from. We have not seen that Volibear hit the Stormbringer and land into someone like Value and specifically lock him down. So we're taking a look. Supernova, they've found themselves those early leads, but in typical Supernova fashion, they kind of brawl them, a lot of them away. And this time around, at least in game 1, Maryville are kind of fighting back finally.
Mountain Dragon is on the table in the next 30 seconds. This is Soul Point, remind you, for Supernova. So it is very imperative for Maryville University to make sure that they are the first ones there to defend it, because clearly, with their gold lead, or their stat difference coming from value on this Ezreal versus Evan RL's Ashe, they should be able to win this fight as long as they have the proper setup and positioning for it. And we already see that with the dragon spawning, MU are the first ones there. Supernova all took resets. Not going to be able to contest for the dragon. Baron is the next objective up on the table. But I still don't know if Supernova are feeling too confident about taking fights. Maybe APA can go for another steal.
Yeah, and I'll hope this is actually... Oh, he's flash full. We're going for it. Wolfie.
Flash for flash. Wolfie without a flash means it's a lot more difficult for him to be able to get assassinations down on Evan or Odd Orange. They still have Lamb's Respite in case any unexpected burst comes in through Fog of War, but it's going to have to be imperative for Supernova to be able to be ready. Niles is on the other side of the map. Maybe if they go for an engagement of some sort, but they're just getting mid priority for now.
Yeah, and this is really problematic now, because now Supernova is in this incredibly awkward spot where they need to have vision of where Wolfie is. They don't quite have that, and they have two open inhibitors. If they want Maryville, they can just look to threaten on this, and they obviously have inside track into this mid lane. Clyde has no flash here. They could look for an engage. Going on to Iconic.
Well, Shady is able to get out alive. Can we say the same thing about Iconic? Beautiful Tempered Fate comes in, but it makes the call. The Forge got a little skunk on that, and Iconic and gets taken down. Slam dunk from the Stormbringer. Piecake Lord is on a rampage. It's just a mighty bear. And look at Evan RL. He's untouched. No one is touching him. He's able to shoot him down. He's putting on his best Legolas cosplay. One arrow after another. But now they're on the retreat. Wolfie and Valley are still relatively healthy. APA was looking for a potential counter engage, but Supernova are going to take that fight because they come out on top and they don't want to take any more chances.
Yeah, it's I'm just so surprised at this point. I probably shouldn't be, considering how this series has gone. They're looking to try and force TPs into mid lane and immediately start this Baron. Great job from Supernova, but we take a look back into that fight. Evan RL finally able to plant his feet and put down so much damage. Both of these AD carries are trying to rush for that death stance. Take a look. Wolfie, kind of in a great position, can look to try and burst. He's level 16. Ezreal is here. He does have flash, and they could look to poke out, but like you were saying, that the Lancer Spite is not available.
Wolfie has already used his mirrored distortion.
They're gonna look to fight TP coming into Niles.
Supernova, but Niles wants to get the TP right.
Oh, no.
Value finds Clyde. High Cake Lord is gonna be the sacrificial. Yeah. Oh no, he's got Stormbreaker. He gets out, and the rest of the members are trying to run. But guys, why are you greeting for camps and Krugs, guys? You got to get the hell out of there. High Cake Lord will be taking down my value, and Evan RL just greeting alongside on Orange. He's gonna get punished for it, and now it's just 2 members with Baron buff. But if it's just 2 members against the 5 members of Radiance or Maryville University, I should say. The entire man, this coach is really kicking in, Dimitri. The top inhibitor will be easily taken down here. Maryville University potentially have a chance to just close out the game. Clyde is coming up in the next 5 seconds. Wolfie looking for some burst. APA trying to play goalkeeper right now, trying to protect his other marksman alive. But there's a knockup comes in. Clyde is finally here. He gets the ultimate down on the Iconic. Knockups are flying in and out and back and forth between every other team. But Maryville University just have more damage in the tank. But Value cannot take the base by himself. The rest of the members of Maryville University are now critically low, and they will not be able to continue the siege, and Supernova will live to see another day.
What is up with these random Krug steals? Cool. On Orange yet again. You got yourself a Krugs. What does it do for you? Absolutely nothing, and you almost lose the game off of that play. Thankfully, Odd Orange and Clyde are able to defend, or sorry, APA are able to defend against the base long enough for a lot of these respawns to come out. Baron again, remember, this was a Baron that was taken by Supernova, and sadly we don't have a Baron power play gold monitor, but I can promise you it is negative at this point. I'm absolutely shocked, and we're only in game 1. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, a best of 3 here, and 45 seconds available on this Mountain Drake. I again want to take a look at where we are in itemization. Evan on 3, Value about to finish 4. He's been sitting on this Last Whisper for an incredibly long time, but summoner spells are not available for this Ezreal.
Pie Cake Lord taking a bunch of damage from Wolfie, but thankfully this is a very beefy bear. Mountain Soul Point is now on the line for not just Supernova, but this time Maryville University, since they've been able to claw their way back into the game via objectives. And Iconic and the rest of the Maryville University squad have the upper hand on the position. They're going to look for a fight. Wolfie's right there in the pit. He gets a massive distortion. Damage down. Beautiful flank by Wolfie. That's it. There's no way that Maryville University can defend against this. Clyde will be the second to last one to fall. Pie Cake Lord can run, but he can't hide. And the base is exposed. That will be the game, ladies and gentlemen, as Maryville University look to run it down and unlock the final Nexus turret and close out this game.
Man, I was wondering, I was gonna ask, hey, who on the Supernova team actually gets onto the Ezreal? And in every fight we saw, it was no one, and in the end, like you're saying, Maryville able to take a pretty dominant, although slow-paced game 1 in this series. And, whoo, that was, you know, it was a Lemony Snicket, a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
That was Supernova looking so strong in early game, but just looks incredibly lost in that mid game.
Yeah, you know, Dimitri, if there's anything that we can take away from this game, is that there is a lot of value in having an untouched Ezreal all game long. You know, no pun intended, by the way. But
Jesus. I'm looking at damage. I got a little bit of a chest congestion after looking at that.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
16,000 gold. I mean, he's looking hot. I mean, another team composition where yet again it is a battle of the AD carries, and by the time that Evan is relevant, the rest of his team has been made not so much. PCL had a great lead for himself, and we were able to talk about it. I think Niles played the, I'm playing for my team, I'm playing objectively, and even on the Ornn, it still looked incredibly shaky. I'm not completely sold on this Ornn pick for them, but Wolfie in value, they were able to do exactly what LeBlanc wants to do. I would have liked a little bit more split pushing from them to try and force the issue, especially since you have TP on this LeBlanc. You didn't see too much of it, but a really nice statement and continuing with the trend that we saw from Focus that blue side 100% win rate.
Something to consider here for Maryville University, as obviously they will more than likely have to switch sides going into game 2, since Supernova should have the pick of choice. But I think the biggest thing for Supernova, just it came down to if they opted in for both of this team fighting back-to-back frontline compositions, value was just a richer to carry. He had more stats, he had more gold, and they were able to just accelerate his income even further. And if that's going to be the case, you need to have better backline access just as an insurance plan. And unfortunately, Pie Lord was not enough, even with his lead from the top lane. But we'll have to see how well Supernova are able to adapt in the draft phase for Game 2 as we take a quick break to get set up.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for Game 2 here between Supernova and Maryville University. I wanted to preface that we did not get a chance to introduce ourselves face-to-face. So, hello, chat. Alk, say hi to the
chat.
people.
Hi, chat. Well, what am I, your kid now? Or you're like, here you go, honey, say hi, like shake his hand.
Yeah, you know. I raised you.
What? I'm sure my mom has a couple of questions about that one, but yeah, because my dad apparently.
No, I'm just talking about like the amateur scene, brother.
Also, we didn't have time to get ready, remember? So we were gonna. Honestly, before that fight, during that Baron, I was in my underwear, bro. So I'm finally.
Huh? You're
I'm
gonna
fully
reveal
dressed.
that on stream? That's
I'm fully
really
dressed
cringe,
now.
dude.
I was told, hey, you have to get ready. You're gonna be on camera, so I put on a shirt, put on pants.
Kind of weird, champ. Anyway, shout out to Ernesto. Well, we have the draft starting, ladies and gentlemen. We do have a few things to go over while the bands are just flying through the screen at the moment. We saw that Maryville University were able to pilot a very successful front-to-back team fighting composition, iconic on that Graves. We now have a change of bands here for Supernova. Instead of the Karma, it's going to be the Ezreal being taken away from Maryville University. But the fact that they don't want to pick it up for themselves, particularly for Evan RL, means that they have another first pick priority in mind.
Yeah, more than likely for Supernova, this is going to be an Ashe pick. If it doesn't get banned, for Maryville, what I'm expecting for them is they're probably just going to pick Graves. First pick, even on red side, it is just a constant on their end, and more than likely going to be picking up another AD carry to match Ashe. I can't imagine that they would try to play Aphelios yet again. Supernova have some options. I think Varus would be pretty nice on a first pick for blue, but more than likely what we're seeing from this draft is yet again trying to get some more priority picks for bot lane as they're slammed in. They want PCL on that pick.
Now, it's always a potential. I don't know how much the priority has changed for Jungle Volibear on this patch, but I would imagine that the slow or the very light hits on his attack speed were not enough to take the bear down. If he's
They
still
took the healing off. It's 50% reduced healing on monsters and minions. It's nuts.
Oh, I missed that part of the patch notes. Well,
see, kids, that's why if you ever need to read patch notes, you go to riot.com. No, but it seems like Maryville more than likely they just want to take a repeat of this matchup. They said, hey, PCL, sure, you can smash me in lane if I'm Niles, but I'm going to end up winning the game when it comes to being on objectives. And this wasn't the case last week on Focus. PCL was always there before him. They were able to set up, and even when Niles had positioned there, wasn't quite in range. So now we're seeing Supernova pivoting towards a Trundle and Ashe. I don't expect this to be Trundle support, as obviously it's a little bit more blind, but a lot of people tend to favor Trundle into the Orange just for taking away his stats if he is going to go onto your AD carry.
Yeah, more than likely this is just a little troll king in the jungle for Odd Orange here. It is not the most favorable matchup into the Graves, but, the beautiful thing about taking Trundle is that he's pretty much a safe blind pick or just a safe pick into any type of jungler where you are just there for one thing only, providing a little bit of early game agency through the power of pillar ganks, as well as being able to secure objectives early on as well for yourself. But then once you hit that level 6 mark, you're just going to sap the Ornn for all those tank stats and try to turn them into paper mache. As Maryville University, they answer with a Braum ban, ensuring that Supernova cannot block that Call of the Forge God.
Yeah, and I love this from Maryville. They're keeping obviously a yet again another flexible composition, at least earlier into the draft. The Graves, yet again, I don't think they're going to play too much into it. He's going to be a little bit more standalone, especially into this Trundle matchup. But this is probably going to be that phase rush Graves that I've been expecting. And for Varus, he has a lot of great options. More than likely, he's going to be going on hit, lethal tempo, all that kind of jazz. Although he does have an option, depending on what Supernova pick in the last couple phases here, to go for poke. It would mean that Maryville need to pick a little bit more consistent damage from the mid lane, and they definitely still have options in that case. But Lulu is still available for Supernova, and this was a champion that when Odd Orange and APA are running around solo killing people on Lulu mid, it is a fantastic sight to see.
I love me some Lulu mid. Now, I don't know if they will be going for the Lulu mid angle, since combined with Trundle, it doesn't seem like the most exciting pick. Although, if Odd Orange wanted to experiment and goes something like Warrior on the Trundle, you know what? Let's not speak too more.
Now,
That's
hold
crazy
up,
talk.
Mark. This could be the Nunu.
You know, they did ban away. Oh, okay, so it's not quite the Nunu angle, but it is another perma shove roam champion. And we're getting the Cloud9 bot lane throwback. Then we got the Talia in the mid lane for APA, and we have the Ashe Zyra patent pending combo. Now, Wolfie, don't do this to me. Don't hover the Xerath and not lock it in. I want to see it, brother.
Look,
because
he played it for, his collegiate championship. I think he's willing to lock it in again. Has an okay matchup into Talia. Can match some of that global pressure of that roam. And
I sleep.
Let's go. Finally, we got a fun matchup and different champions. I think this is the first time in amateur that we're actually able to see something other than like the same 6 champions going across. So high five, you get the mark of approval, no pun intended. And the Ashe Zyra lane is something that everybody has been kind of, sitting on. They're like, okay, this should be good in theory against Varus and Thresh. You can lock down the Thresh. You can lock down specifically Varus and really punish him with a ton of damage in this laning phase. It's going to be up to Supernova to kind of push this lead. Now, Zyra, as long as she doesn't get behind, shouldn't be useless. She is probably going to be going Dark Harvest. If not, then maybe we're going Guardian, but meh. And across the lanes, Maryville do have a really nice long-range composition. It does leave champions like Graves and Thresh a little bit high to dry, but I'm expecting a much more interesting first couple of minutes coming out from this game.
I don't know if you can tell
you're snapping. I can hear it.
I
can definitely see it too.
I'm just humming a tune to myself. It's called Wolfie Locked in the Xerath. We've been waiting so long. He's kind of mediocre on other champions, but his Xerath is poggers. Yeah.
Jesus. Wow, Wolfie. Come on, man. Look, I know Wolfie hasn't been performing like too fantastic, and but I'm a little bit worried that the Xerath is going to be really hard pressed versus Trundle, Volibear, and Zyra. It's gonna be hard for someone like my boy Xerath to do much if on paper they play this like they're supposed to.
Yeah, in all honesty, in all seriousness, I do like that Maryville University have basically drafted themselves a poke composition, a long-range poke composition. And when you're looking at things like Talia and Zyra, yes, they have a lot of burst damage, and they are very, very, very good at being able to counter-engage and punish compositions that want to make dives. Maryville University were comfortable with the pivot and say, you know what, we've already have the Varus angle. He's kind of flexible, being able to go into more of the team fighting status, or if we just want to make him poke oriented, let's lock in the Xerath. Let's just make it so that we have 2 strong backliners that are very basically going to be on artillery duty. We siege, we force them to come to us, because apart from Crystal Enchanted Arrow, there's not many strong ways of just forcing fights against Maryville University's composition here. So I don't know how Supernova, unless they, are able to get flanks going, it's really hard for them to actually engage onto this squad.
Yeah, and especially how we like to again see Maryville, and specifically in Shady, acquire vision. He pushes early, he makes sure that they have the lane priority, and seems like from Supernova, even though they've been picking this Ashe, they've been succeeding a lot of lane, just giving up when it comes to having, freezing the lane right in front of their turret. This is really good for teams like Maryville, where your support is more willing to leave the lane and get bot lane vision. So I would like to see Evan RL and Clyde try to find the killer, try to find some kills in this bot lane, push for some kind of lane. Obviously, when they're freezing, they're trying to at least, hey, we're mimicking that potentially iconic is here. They do set up for a lot of roams, but like you were saying, PCL is a potential member that looks to dive. Xerath is incredibly weak when you're trying to stun a target that has unstoppable, as well as sitting under your turret with no summoners. And I'm expecting for Talia to push this wave in, look for a kind of roam, and if not, there's a lot of solo kill potential if Trundle tends to move into the lane.
Yeah, just imagine a Xerath without flash. I mean, how do you escape from pillar slow and trying to desperately walk around it? And then it's very easy for APO to walk up, get that seismic shove into the unraveled Earth Burst combo. But we'll have to see how this plays out after this break as we get ready for Game 2.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere, I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the rift for Game 2 between Maryville University and Supernova, but Dimitri, looking iconic. He's running the hidden tech, the Ignite Smite, baby.
Oh, let me get a pause. Right into it. But yeah, we took a look at this. This is something that Simplicity was actually running, and it was absolutely banger. You know, they ended up smashing a 2-0 series over in the Upsurge quarterfinals to start, and he took the phase rush this time, which was, you know, I was expecting this matchup. I was like, okay, maybe we'll see something different. And across the board, we're actually seeing a lot more, you know, interesting things. Obviously, Value taking the Comet, so more going towards, you know, I was going to start talking about builds and how his itemization is going to be really impactful because he will have cheaper items, thus giving, you know, the side of Maryville the push and priority to fight for these early Drakes. But I kind of got distracted by Niles and PCL doing a nice friendly dance.
Yeah, I mean,
they're haters. You know, the two of them are. You know, I hope Hyper is somewhere out there saying God bless Out Battery, but Volibear and Orin hate each other. Like
yeah, in terms of
so they're
lore,
dancing,
right?
and it's like, yeah, it's like, bro, why are you dancing? We're not supposed to dance in front of each other. No fun allowed. Hey,
come on, man. Niles and Piecake Lord, you know, they've been through this roundabout. They've been playing against each other for the past couple of years. They've been in the amateur scene so long that, you know, it's just like old friends meeting on the rift. You know, it's nothing personal. It's just a matter of being able to
the lore, Mark.
Dance through life. All right, listen, buddy. The only lore I care about in this moment right now is that the fact that Supernova are down 1 game, and it's match point here for Maryville University. This is a best of 3. This isn't a best of 5. Just like,
and there's no losers bracket. To note, there's no losers bracket here in Richmond. So if they get knocked out, They're gone. And Supernova get almost completely booted out of Scouting Grounds. I can't like they'd obviously have to win LWL. They would also have to win. They'd have to. They have a really nice dominant position over in Focus, so they could win that championship. But there's not as many points, obviously.
Jesus Christ!
Look at that.
You
love it.
This is the second time we've seen Piecake Lord be able to get the level 2 Power Spike first over Niles, and Niles is not in a position to contest it. He does take a lot of damage off the top, but thankfully he is running Biscuits along with the 1 health potion that he started out with that Dorn Shield, so he's going to be able to sustain right back up. But I do want to go back to the overall composition and what the trend, or what we should be expecting from the side of Maryville University, as we have an invade over on the bot side of the map, and Odd Orange is able to get the smite down over Iconic. He's gonna be pretty sad that he won't not be able to have his blue buff, and because he passed from red into Raptors into blue, he is still level 2, so he cannot contest. Meanwhile, a lot of damage coming out from APA over against Wolf. Gotta be careful, and Iconic actually is in danger of getting... Oh my god! Odd Orange says thank you for the leashes, brother, and Iconic is very sad right now, and the fact that he already used the Ignite in the first exchange and it did nothing to Odd Orange, it's going to make talking about the Ignite Smite a little worthless, because we were very hyped about it once we got into the game.
Again, that is one way that you go to counteract this, right? And this lane, this time around, Supernova are looking to get the push on. Take a look at where they're positioning, right? They had the wave shoved into the turret. Value has to say, do I drop a whole wave and try to protect my jungler? Yes, on the first time around. This time, Shady has to move, and even then, he's kind of in an awkward position. They don't have really the angle, and Clyde is setting up over the wall with a bunch of plants. Like you were saying, the Iconic Ignite gets made pretty useless when you early invade onto him and you have that level lead. So not only taking away those 2 camps, you're going to be able to double scuttle him. And this ward, depending on if Odd Orange is able to kind of push up a little bit more vision, should just mean that Graves is just now kind of taken out from the gank for a few minutes, which, to be fair, right, Graves ganks, not too impactful.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the CC to be able to follow up with, well, that's why we're going to gank Niles, because Niles, should be able to have a knockup locked in place for Pie Lord, but we also have Odd Orange making the counter gank, and now says, I don't want this ride anymore. He has the flash away, and Odd Orange is going to walk him out. Iconic, despite being a level down, is still getting some auto attacks down, but that's a flash from Pie Lord, it's a flash from Odd Orange, and Iconic, you gotta remember, he took Ignite, he didn't take flash, he doesn't have it, and Niles is also a little too deep. It's an easy double kill for Pie Lord, and
I swear, every single time that people play against Volibear, they're more scared about the ultimate, they're more scared about the Q stun, but Sky Splitter is nuts. It is 13% of your max HP, and it is a basic ability, and you max it first on Volibear every single time. He also gets a shield off of it every single time if he's inside the circle, which, to be fair, not in the exchange, didn't look like he was in it. Either way, so much damage from the Volibear, and an early double kill for PCL yet again puts Maryville at a pretty disgusting disadvantage, especially with the aggressive nature of Iconic's Graves in this matchup.
And to explain how that kind of overall affects... Oh, Shady, you're fine. Okay. No. To explain how this affects overall the state of the game here for Supernova, you have to think about they have a lot of early pressure.
APA, that's... Oh my god,
that's genius! 500 IQ from APA! Oh my god! This is why. This is why he can make the Talia work on battery.
So it saves him. It saves him. He will lose a lot. It seems like Odd Orange is going to have to catch this wave, and it's pretty unlucky timing considering right now Iconic wants to spend as much time trying to get back into the lead. He is going to probably contest for this upcoming scuttle in about 45 seconds. He won't have bot priority for this, so it will be incredibly dangerous. But, I mean, really great job from APA, even though, like, we saw him trying to do a bunch of those fancy feet dodges earlier, and he was just tanking every skill shot. Wolfie was like, I mean, you can keep dancing inside, I'll just keep hitting you.
Just one of those things, man. Yeah, that ult traded for ult. Although, APA, thankfully for the Talia, a lot of the damage comes from the burst of his 3 primary spells rather than actually the ultimate itself. This just gives him the ability to be able to influence the other sides of the map. So the fact that he can still make that happen when he has access to goes as well.
Coming in, has Stormbringer right on top.
Wolfie still has tons of flash, but there's nowhere for him to go. It's an easy pickup for both the top laner and the mid laner for Supernova. Still the laners working together in harmony. You love to see it, and even Odd Orange being efficient with the jungle pathing is able to pick up the first dragon of the game. It is Ocean, so it provides, considering that there will not be an Ocean Soul this game, it is good for the side of Supernova to pick up any Ocean Dragons at all when they are up against a very heavy poke composition that Maryville University have built.
And obviously one of the ways that you can defeat a poke composition, or really any composition really, is get off to an amazing early start. Not only is PCL kind of dictating the top lane right now to the Maryville squad, but even Wolfie needs to be incredibly careful. This is one of those matchups that I was worried about, like, hey, the Zera, really great, something unique that we haven't seen, and definitely good into poking Talia out. The problem is how does the Xerath exist in a lane, or in a game really, where there's a Trundle, like we said, with the Volibear, and Volibear roams into his lane, is able to grab that kill, and all this time, because of the early game against Iconic, and because of bot lane's priority, they're able to get that early Drake. Now, we see this from Maryville from time to time. They try to start off this 8-minute Rift Herald, but it seems like they might be a little bit dissuaded. There is massive level leads across the board, and Value, thankfully, throws out the hail of arrows to get a little bit of vision, but now with this lane swap, it is really difficult. Niles is behind the curve already and is going to come to a turret where he's already dropped the plate, and this Rift Child that they were prepping for is again handed over to the side of Supernova.
And you know that they're going to be wanting to push out through this top side or mid side with this rotation from the bottom lane. Looks like Shady's getting a recall in. Not sure.
Baited, I think, because Clyde doesn't have level 6. I think he's going to try and hide in the bush. Value does have level 6 here. They're going in.
Well, they fire the arrow and they get the full combo down. Zyra, baby! If you don't remember Season 3, ladies and gentlemen, well, here's a brief history catch-up lesson here. You fire the arrow, you unload the full combo from Zyra, and usually it's a pretty easy kill. Thankfully, Shady was able to flash outside of the Stranglethorns before the knockup came in for further burst damage, but it will force away the bottom lane of Maryville University, and with the Rift Herald going down, this is going to be first break in favor of Supernova.
Yeah, and talking about cheap items, right? Ash actually has some pretty cheap itemization as well, and getting an early gold increase is always super nice on this champion, especially when you're going Blade of the Rune King into Runons. Relatively cheap, not as cheap as those lethality items, and this is going from bad to worse right now for Maryville. Value specifically not really finding too much of a lead into this Ash matchup right now, has really been neutered, all things considered. He will be able to spike a little bit early as 2400. I just want to take a look at his gold. He does have double longsword, and Shady right now on this Thresh is having an incredibly rough time. The hooks have not been landing, and it's been preventing Maryville from finding engagements.
And I want to take this time, because I think the action is calmed down on the Rift here, for us to go back over Maryville University's composition, what its goal was. It's a heavy poke and siege composition, but in order to be able to unlock to that state where you can just relentlessly poke out the side of Supernova, is to be able to hit that first item power spike. Luden's Echo for Wolfie, Yumu's Ghost Blade for value, and then you also have Warrior Enchantment for Iconic, and you all group up together and you just look to run it down on one turret and just force out the members of Supernova. But you need to get there first, and it is very, very vital that Odd Orange was able to make that invade happen onto Iconic early on, that 3-minute invade into the game, because it heavily delayed Iconic from being able to have a lot of agency on the map, and him being denied and him being decelerated in levels meant that he could never contest Odd Orange in a 2v2 or a 1v1. That's why we saw the PCL turnaround coming over into his favor for that double kill. And from there on, Maryville University have just, as you said, behind the curve.
Yeah, they're not able to catch up as we take a look. Board.
He's fine.
Odd Orange, he's just saying hi. He should be able to walk out. He does have flash. He's gonna get poked out for his troubles on the exit here. A lot of right now what Supernova are doing is prepping for this upcoming dragon. I'm expecting for a couple of TPs obviously to come out from their top laners, but take a look at the itemization. Niles hasn't really finished an item. PCL does have the Stormbringer available, and Ignite here for Iconic as 2-level lead right now for the Trundle should mean that the dragons right now, all of these early dragons should be going in favor of Supernova.
Wolfie still, as you can see, the rest of the members of Supernova still trying to get their first item power spikes. Yuma's Ghost Blade almost in hand for value. Luden's Echo sitting about 20 more gold. Wolfie should be able to shove out this wave and get it on the next back, but this dragon is up on the table for the rest of the members of Supernova. But instead of looking at the dragon first, they're going for a dive. Crystal Enchanted Herald locks right down onto value. Stranglethorns is there for the knockup. Ignite is ticking down. He fires out the ultimate to be able to try and defend himself.
Oh my god, why?
Well, Pancake Lord is going to try to say something about it, but Value will be able to make it out alive. We can't say the same thing about Shady, but his life for his 80 carries. It is a wonderful trade. Wolfie even being able to provide some assistance with the Arcane Barrage, gets a shutdown onto the top laner, and despite the engaged heavy dive powers from Supernova, it seems like Maryville University did a pretty admirable job of deflecting it.
Yeah, you know, great job for them. They were able to do this as Iconic trying to find an invade, has to use the ultimate to escape. Phase Rush is procced.
He's got the movement speed.
Bye-bye.
Oh. Well, Iconic.
I want to talk a look at that dive, because that dive was awfully played. As TP coming in, they're going to look to try and punish APA.
Well, Niles teleports right onto...
oh, no.
Oh, my God. Oh, damn, Niles. Tell him how you really feel. He does flash forward and he gives up a kill over to the side of Supernova, but the message was sent to Dimitri.
Man, I'm so confused. That dive was awfully played in bot side. They have like 3 different targets that they're going for, and in the end, yes, they get the flash from Value and they're able to get the kill, but any kills going over to the side of Maryville is a winning play for them. Obviously, they want them to be a little bit less even than they are, but they're getting a lot of shutdown gold for themselves, and not much objectively is happening. Some of their members are having to expend a lot of summoner spells, and I don't think the map state has changed all that much, as yet again, this dragon still should be in favor of Supernova as Wolfie goes for a reset. They're going to rotate their bot lane into top, and I'm hoping Maryville, what it looks like is, they're going to try and push in the top side and look to get some kind of vision over this Rift Herald, and I can't imagine they would make a play over it, though.
5,000 gold is an advantage here for Supernova, but always plan ahead, might be routed out. They have the Chain of Corruption, and that's all the CC you need, you know, between Death Sentence and Flay. But where's APA supposed to go? He was a dead man walking in that jungle.
Man, it's perfect, right? We got the Graves on the enemy team. You can hit him with the voice line, so it checks out.
Wow.
You know, this meme checks out. This meme checks out. As we take a look, Supernova are pushing into the mid. They're trying to break into this tier 1. They do have Stormbringer. It's not quite up. She's coming up quite soon.
Oh, it was a nice cleanse, but a beautiful grasping roots from Clyde snags Wolfie on the tail end of that E. Is able to pick up a kill for the members of Supernova, but the rest of the engage is coming out. Niles and Shady, they don't have any damage with them. They got a lot of crowd control, but they're gonna go for it.
Oh my god.
Shady tries to death send Pie Cake Lord into it, but he still makes it count. And despite it all happening, Shady's actually able to buy enough time for Pie Cake Lord to be able to come down, but APA is now on a rampage. Double kill comes out for Auto Orange, and he makes the escape happen in value. He's got the Yumu's Ghost Play, but he doesn't have enough damage against the... What would we call Talia? Oh, she's got the Pool Party skin too. That's sick. Yeah, really so a waterbender. It's literally a waterbending.
Yeah, I would agree. Man, I'm what's the word? Flabbergasted by that play. There was a lot of micro things that went really wrong for the side of Maryville. Obviously, Shady living, maybe they're able to get Niles out of that because of the Lantern, but then you see Auto Orange just rushes in from behind the fallen turret, and they're able to then pick up not only Thrush kill, they're also able to kill Niles, and then Value just, again, with no flash, is unable to dodge out. So, really great job from Supernova playing around this Ashe ultimate. They're able to get themselves not only the Dragon and the Rift Herald, and this should be Supernova looking to try and close this out. They have all of their turrets available to them. Now they have a reset jungler and mid coming back out onto the map. Talia's really far ahead right now. The gold, I know the CS shouldn't match 800 gold in advantage, but any time that Wolfie does not have cleanse or flash is time where Supernova are ahead and looking really strong.
For the members of Maryville University, their composition had one thing in mind, and it was to get to this mid game and be able to set up powerful sieges with that 1-iron power spike. But as you said, behind the curve, hey, look at that.
Value.
Who doesn't have flash? Who doesn't have cleanse? Oh, but it's not enough damage from the side of Clyde, and always plan ahead. Wolfie is able to take the dark passage at the last second. No, they're fine. They're fine. They're fine.
Finish the turret, guys. Oh, here it comes.
Call the Torch God is going to get a knockup down onto Clyde. Niles taking a lot of damage in return, but thankfully he is Ornn. He is level 11, so he is reaching that tank point. But Pie Cake Lord does have Stormbreaker. If he wants to put the pain in the back of Niles' head, he might go for it. Stormbreaker comes out, bam, gets the 383 crit on the backside of it. Wolfie is going to go down, and oh my god, Pie Cake Lord, they have families, brother. You don't need to hit him with that hard of a BM, man.
Bro, he hits the dance on them, bro. Spamming the dance. He felt a little bit inspired right there, but able to crash that Rift Herald into mid lane, crack open 2 turrets, as well as get themselves some kills. I don't expect them to grab the Baron, as it's not quite up yet in a minute and a half. Their play was a little bit early, but a fantastic job yet again. Finally, this is what I was expecting from game 1, right? PCL specifically on this Volibear, he got his early game advantage, and now he's able to exact that kind of pressure all across the map and onto the Maryville team here. So Wolfie, yet again, has to deploy a lot of resources that are taken away from people like Value and like from Iconic. A lot of these members from the Maryville squad are kind of suffering 6,000 gold. Yes, they have cheap items, but they can't even buy most of them as Value. He's trying to pick up a Banshee's Veil, or sorry, the Edge of Night. It's a pretty expensive item with really weird build paths. It's got a Ruby Crystal in there. It's got a pickaxe for some reason.
Yeah, and it is one of the more peculiar lethality items that is available in the shop, as barely dodges out on the Crystal Enchanted Arrow, and that does mean that there's not many more engage tools that Supernova can rely on to force a fight. So Maryville University are, despite looking very uncomfortable in this tango between Supernova and themselves, well, actually Niles just stands still and says, well, I can't really get out of this fight, and Weaver's Wall makes the cutoff necessary for Supernova to be able to rout off the members of Maryville University. We have another dragon that is already up on the table. It is Infernal Soul this game, and that's going to be the third dragon, putting them at soul point.
Yeah, and Infernal Soul for this team composition will just be a nail in the coffin if we get to that point. I can't imagine. We're speedrunning this game. The last one was 36 minutes. Supernova's like, all right, yawn. Like, can we speed this one up? We're going to go to 20 minutes, have a 7,000 gold lead, 14-4, 5-1, and it be at soul point, like you said. Take a look at some of the itemization. APA's build is a little bit more wonky. He is going to be picking up the Morellonomicon, and so his build is going to be lacking, at least in terms of damage. He does have a ton of utility, which obviously for APA, he is packing a ton of already, but Morellonomicon should just mean that any healing is kind of mitigated, although there's not much healing being built. I think sitting on O-Orb was fine. This might be a big question mark. APA could go for Void Staff here if he really wanted to. But...
Oh god. Value, run! Run, Value! Oh!
Right here. Oh! That's unfair!
Yo,
Arrow hits him with a 2.5-second stun. He gets not only slowed, but his only CC ability is negated by the unstoppable Stormbringer.
Poor Value. He saw, remember when we talked about the bear analogy in game 1, and we're talking about, just a bear running you down? That's exactly what Value felt right there. Well, they're gonna go for the re-engage. Niles does find a knock-up on the APA, and it's a lot of a burst damage will go down, but beautiful flash in the last second. Last Arcane Barrage is trying to look for APA on the backside, but he now has to switch back to defensive mode. Clyde flashing forward, burning the cleanse from Wolfie as well, forces away the Arcane Sorcerer from the defenses of his jungle, as he's gonna have to walk out with Shady. Board 1, 2, 3. Ottawa looking for a pillar, forcing the flash out of Shady. This is a lot of Summoner spells being burned down on the side of Maryville University. It's going to force them out. Iconic is still alive, but Baron might be on the table once again for Supernova.
Yeah, and now we take a look. This should just be a free Baron for them. So really a great job from the side of Supernova. This was kind of what I was looking for from their last composition with this Ashe and Volibear. When you have so many Freljordian champions, you have a lot of crowd control available to you, and they finally kind of have this really good pick composition. Noted they did also have an early league, which I keep saying, but 5,000 gold. I can't see Iconic looking for a steal here, especially with how warded this is, even with the Chain of Corruption landing.
They used the Crystal Enchanted Arrow to buy time and stall Iconic from being able to get into the pit, but he's gonna take his what's the prize called, or what's the type of prize when you? No, it's not complimentary. It's something else. It's like condolences prize or something. Oh, what is it? Words escape me. We talk for a living, by the way. That's
Consolation, there we go.
Yeah, consolation. Thank you, brother. Well, Niles is, they've got the engage going down. Shady is just going to get burnt down to a crisp by the combination of MRL and Odd Orange, and they're getting the chomp down. Niles is going to have to flash over the wall, but Piecake Lord is in the thick of it all. He's running them down, gets the flash. There's the Sky Splitter. He rains terror down to the members of Maryville University. Knockup comes out, but Niles, it is going to be the last one you do this game, because with the amount of force that Supernova have and the Baron buff on their side, this could be the closing out of game 2.
Exactly. They have all their members available to them. They do not have the Stormbringer to go for dives, but if they want, they have APA. Throw down the Weaver's Wall, cut them off from defending their base, as this is a 2-lane push right now. They're going to just leave topside at this point. They're going to look to try and wait for this bot turret. Yeah, they have got a few minions. They still have the Baron, like you said. Weaver's Wall going to cut them off. Ooh, Wolfie with a nice ride of the Arcane should actually just push off the rest from Supernova of really punishing them on this map. So really great job from them.
Wolfie being able to pick up that snipe onto Evan RL will be able to stop them from being able to further advance into the base and lock down objectives. But Shady, that is not a place you want to be, my friend. Look at the lockdown coming in from Supernova, and just one more. Another rock, or I guess this case, another water rock? What? Just blast of water?
Just rocks. It's coral. It could be coral.
Yeah. Throw another coral.
It doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same ring.
Yeah, it does not have the same ring.
I'm not
another.
feeling it, you know? Throw
It's
another
fine.
rock.
Well, you know what they're not feeling? They're not feeling this last dragon because Supernova are going to be pretty much securing it unless Maryville University have a Hail Mary of an attempt to be able to contest it. Oh, Crystal Enchanted Arrow going down the line.
No.
Barely misses out. Oh no, Niles locked down. The pillar was in his way and he tried to ram forward. He does break it, but is he going to get... Man,
with these lanterns.
dude, you're right though, because the dark passages have been absolutely insane from the support for the collegiate squad. He's been able to make so many clutch saves for Wolfie, Value, Niles, and Iconic all together. However, this does push them away from the dragon, and this will be Infernal Soul locked down for Supernova.
Yeah, man, Shady has not been landing the best of hooks, but his dark passages have been fantastic, as Infernal Soul is now picked up. I want to take a look at how Baron is looking on most of the numbers. It should have ran out during all of this. So, you know, they trade one Elder objective for another. They are able to grab themselves that objective, and honestly, at this point, looks like they're just going to run down mid, and there's not much that the side of Maryville can look to do to contest. They're down a couple of levels across every lane if they want. APA again with the Talia can just set up with a Weaver's Wall and cut them off from defending even bot inhibitor, but it looks like the side of Supernova, they're saying we want to take everything, we want it all, we want all the smoke. They're going to go top side, finish out this last tier 2, and look to try and break open through top lane.
Maryville University. You know, when we talked about this poke composition, I think we didn't get a chance to talk about how it doesn't have the best scaling. And so the longer this game goes on, Maryville University don't really... It's not like they're waiting for a win condition. Their win condition was kind of already had, so things have just been very difficult for them, and it's all been a matter of whether Maryville University can merely outplay the members of Supernova and outrange them. But in their attempts to do so, Supernova have exchanged engages with Maryville University. No call for Forge God, no pillar. Well, actually, it was only a Weaver's Wall that was expended, so we still have Crystal Enchanted Arrow on the table, as well as that Stormbreaker if they really want to go and press for this dive.
Yeah, and the best part here for Maryville is the fact that the waves are really badly desynced. APA has to move over, pick up this wave, finally apply pressure in mid lane, and now they're going to try and look to do this yet again. Take 2 on this one. Bot lane still, again, not in a great place, so Supernova's wave manage not perfect, but Stormbreaker coming down.
Crystal Enchanted Arrow locks down Niles. They kind of try to get this dark passage out, but String of Thorns temporarily knocks him off, but he's still able to walk out. They have to knock down the turret right of the arcane, looking for one more shot onto Odd Orange. Is not going to find the mark, but the inhibitor turret at the end of the day will still fall, and Piecake Lord having to trade his life for a further advancement into the enemy base of Maryville University. Baron is not up quite yet until another 35 seconds. Supernova are going to take the fact that they were able to unlock the base even further.
Yeah, and that's still really fantastic for Maryville. They didn't quite take the didn't quite take the inhibitor. They actually forced a lot of errors coming out from the Supernova squad, and I'm not gonna say it's quite back in their favor for Maryville. They are 10,000 gold, and some of this gold will be made up in itemization of increases from Ornn, but this is one of the problems with the Supernova composition. If they don't get ahead, is they have relatively short range. Ashe doesn't have the longest amount of range. They have a lot of ways to push people out and keep them away from contesting certain things, but they don't have great ways. They bypass that a lot of the time by utilizing the Stormbreaker. As the Baron is started here, members of Maryville, they have to clear up their base. They still have an open inhibitor. Doesn't seem like too many members. As Iconic goes down, they're just gonna seem to give this one up.
The rest of the Maryville University squad don't even get near the top side of the jungle, let alone the Baron pit. as it will be soundly secured by the members of Supernova. The Elder Dragon, however, if we're going to talk about any type of realistic win condition,
right there.
that is the comeback window right there. That is the Hail Mary that needs to happen here for Maryville University.
So, typically, I will never disagree that getting an Elder Drake when you're on the losing squad is the winning play and will more than likely get you back into the game. The problem here is Elder Drake is great for fighting. Elder Drake is not great for pushing waves. Yes, you do have some of that Elder Drake burn, but it is going to be really minuscule considering they have no dragons on their side, which won't contribute to any of that damage for the Elder Drake. And they still have 2 turrets to deal with in mid lane and bot lane. They have to push all the way through. They do have a Xerath, which does have some great damage onto objectives, so wouldn't be surprised if they take it considerably fast, but I don't think it actually ends the game as they look for an engage. Call the Forge God, Enchanted Crystal Arrow.
And the rest of the members of Maryville University were not able to follow up because that stun from the arrow blocked them from being able to do anything. Piecake Lord makes the further engagements happen with that Stormbreaker, and they take down Niles. Now it's 5-on-4. Piecake Lord has teleport. Don't be alarmed by the recall. He's just going to come back. He's teleporting down Weaver's Wall. He's going to cut off the members from Maryville University from being able to defend the turrets. They cannot walk up and approach. And the members of this collegiate squad, they're looking for any answers. They find a hook onto Clyde. They get the flay down, but the members of Maryville cannot access the backline at all, and Piecake Lord is just preventing them from being able to do a damn thing. Supernova brings it back in game 2, and we're going to game 3 for all the marbles.
Man, that was I mean, if game 1 was kind of back and forth and Supernova kind of losing sight of how they want to play the game, that game was Supernova tightening it all up on all fronts and immediately slamming from level 1 go against Maryville. That was not an impressive showing. It was not a particularly inspiring performance. And again, where is this Niles matchup? Why are we opting into the Volibear, especially Volibear's first pick? We know that is going top lane. More than likely he's going top lane. Odd Orange on this pick has not been fantastic. And like, why are we continuing to opt in this matchup when Niles is, one of the larger parts? I will say Shady and Value are not really living up to the caliber that we would have expected, but there's not a lot. And this insistency on this Grace pick for Maryville, I feel really hampers them in a lot of situations.
I mean, to be fair, I think that early invade is what really was almost an anomaly. I know I that up in terms of pronunciation, but that shouldn't have happened. The invade that was orchestrated by Supernova, it should not have gone as poorly as Iconic really turned out. Yeah, they get the blue buff steal down, but Iconic shouldn't be able to lose Gromp as well and then be so behind in tempo. I think the composition was, and if we want to have a discussion about it, I'm totally willing to. I think the poke composition mid-game is fine for Maryville University, but Odd Orange just merely overperformed in that situation, being able to orchestrate that invade with his team, as well as the counter gank over on the top side of the map that put them further behind, because we saw how well front-to-back composition works well for Maryville University in game 1, and it didn't seem like there was any problems whatsoever. So I really think that because their win conditions with this poke composition was so binary, that Supernova were able to hit at the right moment when they needed to, and it just completely destabilized the composition from being able to exist at the time that it was supposed to.
I mean, this time around, the Volibear roams are actually useful, right? You can't. The Volibear just makes Wolfie's life really painful. He can't exist under his turret. He can't really even go past tier 2 if he wants, because at that point now you have a Xerath who is really afraid of Trendle Pillar and this PCL dive, and we saw how early PCL just immediately walked out of that lane, hit level 6, level 7, and roamed mid lane. And what I want from Maryville, fine, this poke composition should have worked on paper, but there are a lot of moving pieces on this roster that are not quite clicking. right now. Niles on these tanks, on this Ornn and the Volibear. I've seen him on the opposite side of this matchup. It was not inspiring yet again. I got to see him on Game 4 Jace, and even that was really rough to watch. Wolfie and the rest of the squad need to be able to step up to kind of fill in. It can't just be only Niles. Not every team is just five clones of one person. We take a look. A lot of the teams have really great players in every single role, and for Maryville, the narrative can't just be Niles. It has to be the rest of the squad here. And while I think Value and Shady had a off-mark game, something that we don't typically see from them, this mid jungle, I have a few questions for. I'm not gonna fully pin it on them, but I have not been impressed in the past 2 series of them with this Graves.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to have to see where Maryville University can look to adapt as we take a break and get ready for the Game 3 between Supernova and Maryville University.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Run, run, run. Dangerous, dangerous. Run, run, run. Dangerous, dangerous. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have Game 3 on the table. Now, to reiterate, Maryville University, they had Game 1 on their hands, but then Supernova took it back in Game 2, and now this is match point for both Maryville University and Supernova. I mean, I would say it's more on the line for Maryville University because Supernova still have a chance to be able to compete through Focus. I mean, Maryville University, you said, is in the lower bracket for that,
Yeah.
but I believe Supernova also is in the running for... I'm trying to think of the other leagues as well. I know LWL is another one, but
I can look it up. We're getting into draft though. You know, we've got some of the similar old picks. Again, Maryville, we're keeping up with 100% blue side victory between these two in their series. Every single time whoever gets blue side just wins the game. Doesn't look fantastic, and I mean, if history repeats itself, which it's shown it has, Maryville are looking to try and win this one with a little bit of a different pick ban this time around, banning out the Blitzcrank instead of something like Syndra, which has really sat on the table, at least in the bench for both games this series so far.
in Game 1, Karma was the third ban over by Supernova, but, you know, with Ezreal being taken away as the second one, we'll have to see if Supernova wants to ban something else. It is the LeBlanc being taken away from Wolfie, and now Maryville University. We've seen Supernova go for the Volibear first pick every single time, but they really want that Karma there, Dimitri.
Yeah, I mean, this allows for someone like Iconic. We've talked about it before. Iconic on Kindred looks fantastic. It's something that I love to see every single time. And for Supernova, they're on red side. They have Ashe and Volibear yet again available to them. They can pick a bunch of other AD carries they really want. Obviously, Ashe is really standing out to them when it comes to what exactly they pick. And I mean, Ornn is still available, even though I'm sure there's no Orners in the chat. I'm not sure if there's any Orners. Maryville more than likely going to be picking up the Wolverine special with that champion up in top lane. I'm not too enthusiastic, especially if Supernova are saying, fine, you want to take that matchup a third, fifth time this time around? Volibear is available. We're gonna slam it.
Pie Cake Lord gets to have the bear 3 games in a row. 50% win rate so far this series, but I wouldn't say that the first game was his fault in the majority. So they're very comfortable being able to lock down the Thunder Bear for Pie Cake Lord in the top lane and Maryville University. Hey, look at that! It's also 100% Graves this time in the series for Iconic. So, and he has a 50% win rate so far. So. All right, Dimitri. Let's see how Maryville University
is 50% win rate.
Yeah, it is very true. Except this Karma. This Karma so far 0% win rate because it hasn't been played.
Exactly, undefined. We've got some Warners. I mean,
Wolverine is just dripping right now.
Not the word I would use.
My bad. That's a little too far.
Maryville's priority and insistence on this Grace pick may be the death of them. We'll have to see. As Supernova going for a similar last game draft of picking up, Volibear, Trundle, Ashe. They do ban out the Aphelios, and now for Maryville comes the question of how do you get rid of what champions are going to be really good at making sure that Supernova's comp, which wants to encroach on them, wants to go towards them, what other AD carries are we looking at that really kind of want to play into that style? I'm assuming for Maryville, what they're going to do is more than likely pick up Ezreal, and we're gonna have to see Ezreal Ashe finally get to see that matchup again.
And because Ezreal's banned. Come on, man.
There are a couple of options. Syndra is available, although Syndra into this composition really struggles, especially without Flash and Cleanse. It is definitely an angle. For the side of Maryville, I'm expecting this last ban to be a Braum to try and get rid of that counterplay against Ornn. But this just really hampers Maryville, especially with Aphelios and Xayah being taken away.
Check this out, Dimitri.
Okay, I'm
Are
ready.
you ready?
Is this the Kaisa angle?
Well, for Maryville University, potentially. Oh, they banned the Galley. Okay, so Supernova. Slam Braum right here, right? And you know what? That's the 4th blue aesthetic champion you have.
Dude,
and you know what?
Freljord. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you guys go into solo queue, you pick up in your games, you just pick an all-theme comp, all one faction. Noxus, Ionian, Demacian, Runeterran, Targonian. You can pick Freljord. Every single one of these champions have a piece of CC in their kit. I'm going to eat my words because we're not going to pick we're going to pick Thresh this time around. I would say that the Braum will suffer against a Karma matchup. It's up to Supernova to how much they really want to drop it, but Maryville, they do have their pick of the litter for what they want in bot lane now.
I honestly could see something along the lines of a Zyra or a Bard for Maryville University in support. Oh, we get to see the Jhin matchup. Okay, now, but check this out. Okay. I don't care what they pick for support at this point because Karma's going mid lane, and even though Karma
it's brother.
I know it's a flex, but I guarantee. Just watch it. It's gonna be Karma mid because you know why it's gonna be Karma mid? Because it has to happen so that Supernova can finally have the angle. Because Karma does not exact kill pressure. Look, bam, easy clap. Not only support. This is the Nunu.
This is the Nunu angle.
This is the fattest Nunu angle ever. Ian, if your coach will not be cringe, lock it in.
It's not coach, it's team.
You know what? Fine. Coach, team, whatever, Ian, please use all your might to lock. God. Oh! Okay. All right. It's not the Nunu angle, which I'm really sad about, but this mid is still kind of hot. So
Karthus has been tearing it up. Karthus has been tearing it up recently. especially with the changes, making him a little bit stronger for mid lane. And for Karma, it's a perfect lane. I will say that early on, I'm a little bit worried about how Wolfie's going to play it. He's going to have to be a little bit more dependent on poke and going to be a little bit. It just means that Supernova is not going to have that same priority over the river. We shouldn't see things like we saw from that early game from Maryville where Iconic got put behind. I'm really sad, but the Karthus is still fine. It makes up for their lack of magic damage, has a ton packed into their kit. Maryville do have a team that, again, they want to kind of engage pretty heavily. They still kept it a little bit flexible, and it allows for Graves to be that carry. Jin doesn't quite utilize it in the same way, as he loves having a lot of movement speed, but Maryville still have a much interesting composition, and finally we're going back to the kind of Jin-Ash matchups that we've been really woefully missing out on.
Oh, well, I can get by this Karthus pick. Man, I just need to get over the little post-depression that we're not seeing the Nunu mid. I was promised it. Did not
Yeah,
get it.
I know. He promised it. He did say, the series is a little too sweaty. Remember, this is one of their last series that they could potentially play if they do not win this. And considering, again, no losers bracket, they are in winners final, or they are sitting in grand finals over at Focus, LWL as well. They are still participating in LWL. It is particularly rough, I will say.
But it's fine.
They do need to try. They need to get the wins.
I will say this though, this Karthus mid is very exciting, and if you're not going to deliver on the Nunu mid, this is definitely a nice consolation prize. See, now we get to use the word now that we've remembered what it is. But
Yes.
Let's look at the compositions overall here. So, Maryville University are busting out another somewhat long-range composition. This Jin, standard auto attacks is 550, so he does have to be somewhat mid-range, but he's got the curtain call, and I do believe you were an avid Jin player at one point when he was relevant in the meta. I don't know what your stance is on his position right now.
He's fine for the most part. He's gonna suffer a little bit, with all this engage, locked attack speed and all. Karthus makes his life really hard in certain cases, but Jin's in a really weird spot. Itemization's a little bit wonky. And especially with where Maryville's team composition wants to go, it wants to go into that late game. They are going to be kind of hard pressed for someone a little bit better than Jin when it comes to just raw amount of damage. I'm hesitant because there's Volibear on the enemy team, and again there's Karthus on the enemy team, so Jin is going to be very sad. But things like Deadly Flourish and the Current Call should provide a lot of zone control for them, especially when you think, the rest of this team, you have the Dredge line and you have that Call of the Forge God. Maryville's team composition want to take control of early parts of the map. I don't think that this bot lane is going to provide that, and I definitely don't think, especially with this Maryville mid and jungle, that they're really going to be looking for anything bot lane. They need to look for these early Rift Heralds.
Early Rift Herald control leading into easier turret breakdowns and further unlocking the map, because the fantasy that Graves always has is being able to invade the jungle without impunity and be able to just soak up and continue accelerating himself further and further into the game. We're going to have to see if Iconic decides to take the Ignite Smite run setup again, or if he's going to go a little bit more defensive and have the Flash on deck. But ladies and gentlemen, this is game 3. This one is for all the stakes or nothing, despite maybe what Maryville University and Supernova were able to muster in games 1 and 2 respectively. This last game decides it all and will determine whether they continue in Risen Champions. We'll see what happens as we get ready for game 3 after this break.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
It's Game 3, ladies and gentlemen, between Maryville University and Supernova. And like we said before, this one is for everything. After this, the winner will be proceeding forward into Risen Champions playoffs, whereas, unfortunately for the loser, their road is over. There's no lower bracket to be able to save them from the nightmare that is not being able to get any qualifier points through this time around, but we already see some interesting level 1 invades potentially in the makings as Niles and Iconic sitting in this river bush.
Yeah, they're just saying hi. They're like, okay, we're gonna protect for the early invade. Some interesting keystones. Finally, we have double phase rush for both junglers here, and the Ignite for Iconic has made its return. Wolfie's going to be able to really abuse this Summoner Spellbook here, thanks to having, he's going to be able to have access to TP, also have access to things like the overpowered Ghost. It'll be really nice to see. And just to talk about some of the other brackets going on right now, Long Beach Gerb Nation knock Mirage out of playoffs. We also have Wildcard, who they kind of FF versus Radiance. So whoever wins this matchup is going to be going up against Radiance. And we also have Frostfire versus TFT going on Friday, if I remember correctly. So most of Risen, some of the Risen playoffs have already taken away, and really surprised that Long Beach Gerb Nation got the 2-0. Must have been a really great series considering those guys.
And definitely surprising. As oh my god, one! Holy moly, Wolfie already having to pop the heal as well. So APA just showing how powerful a level 1 Karthus. You definitely don't want to sleep on it. And for those that didn't get a chance to read the patch notes, all if you want to fill them in on what kind of buffs Karthus receives?
I mean, he got a movement speed buff. If I remember, his E as well regains mana when it's active, as well as they gave some slight touches to it, as well as his Q. But I mean, the champion's really nice for mid lane. I can't remember how much movement speed they took off of him to try and get him out of jungle, but they gave him some of that back, not all of it. I'd have to check. And I mean, Karthus he's pretty strong. I've heard some rumblings of this, asking some analysts what they think about it. And this time around, I'm so far I'm impressed, but it is a karma game, right? It is a karma mid lane. He also has minion dematerializer, so he's just going to say, hey, me farm the lane, and I'm going to roam with my jungler and get as soon as possible out of this lane. So not particularly too scared for Wolfie, although obviously getting that early shove is really nice. Take a look, Iconic moving into the top side. Top lane is fighting Niles again.
Well, Pie Cake Lord. I feel like we've seen this story so many times before, but we have a 2v2 coming out. Looks like the crab was secured by Odd Orange and crew. But Iconic does have the inside track, and he has the priority of bottom lane to be able to secure the second crab. But meanwhile, Pie Cake Lord actually getting the tables turned on to him. And Niles gives him the thumbs up emote, says, you know what? You may have disgraced me one time in game 1. You may have disgraced me a second time in game 2. But I got the knock up here. Pie Cake Lord still wants to be able to take it towards Niles, and they are just trading blow for blow. Niles is trying to do his best to power up as...
The air is... Oh my god. Look at the range disparity. Making sure to say, hey,
we
have the Deadly Flourish. Locks down Evan RL. And Maryville, like you were saying, they're fighting across the map, and this time Niles did not die before level 3. So, we're making improvements. Well, plus, Iconic got double scuttle. It's pretty paw.
Oh, Iconic was the one that secured it? Sorry, I'm relying on...
We're using alternate technology right now.
We are using alternate technology, ladies and gentlemen. So I apologize if in the future, if I call out some incorrect information. Unfortunately, my screen goes from 1080p to 360 pixelated resolution. So we'll have to see what happens. Instant pain. Well, Shady tries to deliver some instant pain to Collide, but we do see just mostly value in Shady being able to control and dominate this lane. So was Jhin a historic counterpick against Ashe in the past?
Yeah, it was something that you could use to fight against it. It was something that you could abuse the range matchup. You can say, hey, Deadly Flourish now locks Ashe in place. It's one of those things that kind of put her into the dirt, but I mean, nothing has really changed in this matchup. It's only been Ashe priority on when it's getting picked, and Jhin obviously can't match like game 80 carries that just spam auto attacks like Phelios with chakrams and 200 auto attack experience. So it does fine. It does about as well as it's going to be. And I mean, for what it's worth, they're able to get the early push in. Surprisingly enough, again, Wolfie taking advantage of his karma, uses the ultimate, slams the Q into mid lane, and early Ocean Drake going over to the side of Maryville, which is really nice considering how much poke is on the enemy squad.
Well, looks like Pie Cake Lord. This is not better. I'm sorry.
You know what? Hey, look. You know what, Rafa? You let me know.
There we go.
Okay.
This is fine. Sorry.
I take Lord. Double level 6 is in top side, and he's trying to take advantage of Frenzied Maul.
Oh, well, College of Forge God seems to be coming out. Stormbringer comes out, but Niles beautifully sidesteps in. We have Requiem coming out as well from APA. Ignite comes down from Iconic, kind of burned down the bear. Wolfie is also on the roam. Mantra Q for the inner flare, looking for the tether, and boom, baby, first blood. It took a while to lock down the Thunder Bear, but Iconic finally got it.
Yeah, great job right there. They're able to not only... They do waste a lot of summoner spells for this, right? But They should, if they want to. 50 seconds before Rift Herald is a little bit delayed on that. I don't think they'll get too much punished since Niles does have to back. They already have both teleports gone. They're looking for something on the Value here.
Well, Value is able to get the flash out. Deadly Flourish looking for another route as a TP is coming in from Niles, looking to answer back as reinforcements, but we have reinforcements from the side of Supernova. Oh my god, this is not what Maryville University wanted at all. Look at the damage that is coming out from Orange. Orange is just looking for the pain and just limit testing to the max, allowing APA to be able to land the Skittles on top of the members of Maryville University.
Man, that was super close. That turret was heating up a lot of damage onto Odd Orange. Thankfully, he's able to kind of utilize some of that passive. He also has the ultimate, so he's taking some of those stats, but really close there from Supernova. Only get themselves 1 kill in return, and he is going to go onto APA, which, if there's anybody you want it to go, it's either Evan or it's going to be this Karthus. They do blow the TP a little bit early, just to try and dissuade Maryville from doing too much, but now top laners have uneven teleports. You have a Rift Herald that is available, and they should have an idea of where Iconic is, considering not only that gank, but also thanks to to some of the vision coverage they put up in topside.
Well, at this point, you know, I'm trying to make out the numbers here on the top because I can't even see what the gold numbers are. So Dimitri, help me brother out.
12.9k to 13.4.
You know what it looks like on my screen? It looks like 19 to 13. So I'm really glad you helped me out.
Mark, guess what time it is in the game?
It literally looks like a bunch of zeros. I'm not gonna lie.
Pepe Lassie doesn't know.
I'm so sad.
He doesn't know. It's 9 minutes. We're 9 minutes into the game. Sorry guys. We are trying to solve this issue as soon as possible without any delays in the game.
Yeah,
I just goes a little bit wide.
Just for any fellow producers or in the chat, just you know, you guys might know, but you know, when you're setting up games, ask the teams to make sure that spectators are allowed, so that if someone like myself unfortunately leaves the game to try and make things better, I can get back into the game, because that is unfortunately my current situation. But yeah, you know what? We have to do what we have to make do with. So, and right now I just see a bunch of pixels. That is, I believe, Ash and
Rift Herald taken by Maryville. They utilize their mid pressure again, roaming with Wolfie. This is what I wanted to see. When you have this Graves having such high priority pick, why are you guys not playing stuff like Lulu? I really don't understand, considering how much of a supportive kind of aspect Wolfie takes in a lot of these team compositions, why they are not more willing to try and play support roles. It's really baffling to me. However, we're seeing the successes and kind of the fruits of labor that come from picking up both of these champions early on, and maybe Supernova more than willing to try and play this matchup. They have the Karthus plan for it, so I'm interested to see what exactly comes of it from this game. As we take a look, Supernova taking a pretty aggressive stance over this bot lane. They want to try and get priority over this early Cloud Drake.
And that does mean that if they're able to lock that down for themselves, it will put them not only 1 point further towards that soul point. Could be either Infernal or Mountain Dragon, but, you know, with Supernova already here on the jump.
You want to take a guess?
Well, not right now, because I know it's Cloud Dragon right now, but, hey, I do see a brown symbol. Oh, wait a minute, we got a dive happening on the bottom side of the map. Someone's dying, someone's burning. I'm assuming it's Value. Oh, thank you for the call out. I definitely would have not have guessed, but you know what? Just by association with location, it's gotta be the AD carrier or the support, one way or the other. It looks like Always Plan Ahead was channeling a Requiem. I don't know if it was interrupted by Iconic and Wolfie.
I think it was.
Oh, well, how about that?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Able to find themselves another kill for them, right? They get themselves also the Cloud Drake, which is beautiful for someone like Evan as well as APA. And I think actually Supernova are really happy to get some cooldown reduced off of that Stormbringer, considering how many plays they make off of it once it's off cooldown. So able to grab himself some plates. Niles just trying to push in this top side while he can with the TP disparity that we were talking about earlier. But early on in this game, I mean, Supernova are kind of utilizing their composition. They're trying to punish this Jhin pick as best as they can. And I think 20 CS down versus, a single solo death for value is about as good as you can get right now for Maryville.
Wolfie still tangoing with this pick here. Actually, you know what I can talk about? I can look at item power spikes, but before we get into that, we actually have... Yeah. Odd Orange is coming in. Pillar comes out. I don't believe Wolfie flashed. Oh, now he flashed because there was a death sentence from Clyde. It forces him to use his Precious Summoner spell, but because he has Unsealed Spellbook, he'll have access to a couple more in just a few seconds here as Wolfie clears out this lane. There is no dragon to contest over for the next, I'm going to ballpark it. It looks like 3 minutes and 40 seconds to
A
me.
little blind caster that could. I'm so proud. It's 3 minutes. Let's go, boys.
Oh, no 40 seconds. Okay, just 3 minutes. Okay.
3 minutes.
Thank God.
A little blind caster that could. Honestly, I was surprised you can even see the death sentence. I can't see what Mark sees right now, so I have...
Oh, I could show you.
Oh, no. I'm good. I think I will pass. My internet is already struggling as it is. But, I mean, really, great for Supernova. There's not much that's going on. This is actually the quietest most of these games have been, which I can't tell is a good or a bad thing, especially for how Supernova like to play most of the time. But now we're looking for a fight. They're going. Deadly Flourish lands onto Evan.
We got an engage down, but the Requiem is coming out in response. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, there's a dive occurring, but Iconic is making way towards the bottom side of the map. Curtain Call opens up looking for the slowdown on the Clyde. They get the collateral damage out. Clyde flashes away from the last pick of damage, throws out a death sentence, but is still not going to be able to find any answers back onto the members of Maryville University performing the dive, but Supernova still beat them to the punch for first brick.
Yeah. Great job right there. They're also able to find that kill onto Niles on the opposite side for Supernova, but a lot was wasted, and man, gold is even at this point. They find the kill onto Evan, barely is value able to escape from that heated up turret, and 50, almost 50 CS right now in favor of value. It's about 40 right now. He has a Storm Razor. He also is sitting on a Cloak of Agility, so going to be hitting his power spikes pretty soon. There's not much going on, which is a good thing, actually. I'm actually surprised we got a more calm series. Rafa, film me what happened. I got a oh thank God.
Well, no, it's my for a moment it went super pixelated, and I was like, oh no, I can't. The health bars are blending into the river at this point. So that's at one point that's the status of the resolution I was looking at, but it's fine. Sometimes the pixels will, the funny thing is it looks like one of those like pixel boards, the ones that you like paint and draw, or when you go to church you have like the little the windows. Okay. Well, okay, if you go to like a fancy art building, they have like the glass stained windows or the mosaics. That's the mosaic tiles. Like that's what it looks like right now. Just I can see the tiles on my screen, and it just blends all the colors together. So, but
Rift Herald.
Oh yeah, I do see Rift Herald being started up. I do believe it is also some type. Yeah. The funny thing is, I can clearly see that it says 1556, but it's not changing time. It is just, it just says 1556 on the timer, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. So, well, Mountain Dragon is being started up by the members of Maryville University. It's going to be the second dragon of the game, but Supernova take this opportunity to get the jump onto the mid lane turret. It will open up the map even further, which makes it even harder for Iconic to be able to farm comfortably. And they're just going to start off the fight right here. Calls the Force God comes out and lands a knockup on the 3 members, follows up with another knockup onto 2 members. But Maryville University are doing a pretty damn good job of trying to kite back. No members will fall quite yet. Niles will eventually fall. Just one more chomp is needed there. How the hell does he live for so long? And now Iconic, you know what, while the fight is going on, says, you know what, it's time for me to farm some Krugs, baby. There's nothing else that I can do. The rest of Supernova come out on top. All 5 members, I believe, are still alive somehow, and they have the advantage in this push.
Yeah, amazing job in that trade. They say, okay, you guys want to take the Mountain Drake? We've already started up the Rift Herald. You guys are a little bit behind the curve in that point. And now they slam 2 turrets down in mid lane. And whew, that was really intense because there was a lot of low blinking health bars. I'd have to imagine that some of them are running Triumph and ended up picking a lot of free gold and health in that trade. As APA, you get caught backing in a pretty greedy spot, you get caught with pants down. And I was gonna say a much more iconic duo for the Maryville jungler is him and farming Krugs, but 700 gold for Graves, that's not super, that is a little bit ahead of the enemy jungle, is definitely nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, APA just overstaying his welcome a little too long. They did get a massive objective win trade over for Supernova, but now without Karthus there to be able to defend this turret, this should be easily won over by Maryville University. The next dragon is not up on the table for another 3 minutes. It is Mountain Soul this game, and already it's 2 dragons in favor of Maryville. So they need 2 more for Soul Point to be clinched. And this time, with Ornn on their... Well, it's not like they haven't not run Ornn all 3 games, but with them being so close to Mountain Soul Point, just imagine Niles being able to walk around with something like 500, 600 armor, 400 magic resist.
His passive gives him free stats. He gets plus 10% armor and magic resist from all sources. And, you know, Mountain Drake gives them 6, and if they're able to get 4, they get 18. You know, it's plus 18, then it's plus 10 from that, and it stacks pretty horrendously. It feels pretty bad, especially for how kind of low to the ground that this Karthus team is right now for Supernova. They're gonna have to itemize into penetration. Things like Leandri start to grow in a lot of value as Niles. Only Clyde was there.
Niles was trying to look to be able to bamboozle and take the red buff away, but he was sitting on top of a ward. He played right into their trap. Niles getting caught out, and Clyde is just going to be super content on being able to take down his former top laner.
And Maryville just give up 2 free turrets here at this point. I mean, now what ends up happening is they were looking at topside to try and gank, but this is PCL we're talking about. Why are you trying to gank as Karma and Graves under the turret? They lose 2 turrets as Karthus was pushing in, and now, I mean, they lose their entire bot side jungle. I was about to start praising Iconic, who just uses Ignite, by the way. He's 2 levels over Odd Orange, but most of this is going to get starting to be soaked up as the jungle just keeps getting eaten away from him. He's got the 50 CS lead, but Mark, I can't imagine a Graves that's 2 levels down or 2 levels up. It's gonna feel too great when most of his camps are kind of going missing with so many turrets going down.
Yeah, you know why? It's because there's some counter jungling being had, but it's not by Odd Orange. It's look at the CS that APA is boasting right now. He's 221 CS. We're just barely at the 20-minute mark.
Our prospect farming. We're going in.
Yeah, well, he's upgrading. He's turning from a 4-star prospect into a 5-star prospect. G-Bay, I hope you're watching this god in particular. We got a team fight going on as well. And Call of the Forge God is going to go a little bit wide on that one, but they've already found the member that they wanted to take down in Shady. Does provide Supernova a small numbers advantage as Mountain Dragon is up on the table next 35 seconds. This will be a huge point to take as massive item power spikes are being hit here by Supernova, particularly that Leandri's Torment. He's gonna pop it right now. Let's see how much damage check. We get a damage check in the chat as Stormbreaker comes out. There's the giant crit. Value is gonna get wiped down. Frenzy Maul comes out and just deletes him. Evan RL, I believe, being able to advance forward and putting down the hail of arrows into the backs of Maryville University. It's only 3 members alive as the rest of Supernova say, you know what? We got what we came for. Let's go for the Baron.
I got more. You got more than you wanted, and I stayed in the game. Is what Supernova's saying right now. They started up the ultimate, and they just blow up value. He has to waste all of his summoners. His flash was not quite up, and yet again, the Stormbringer on the Volibear is providing so many issues for the side of Maryville. They're not answering it appropriately. I don't think that they have a proper answer, and again, how much Niles is giving up on the opposite side of that. This guy's 0-5 right now. 2 levels down on PCL. The amount, I mean, just across the board, they are down in levels. Wolfie is down 2, which really doesn't matter considering he's Karma. He's going to start maxing out sooner rather than later with how cheap his items and considering what utility he's going to bring. And since he's so far behind, I don't think he's going to even be able to itemize into something like Rabadon's Death Cap to try and supplement some AP damage. So it is really rough. Evan's 2 levels up. Support is about as even as it's going to get, and Iconic has his level lead, but Graves' level lead is not going to be impactful versus the slew of champions that Supernova have.
I just have one question for producer Joe. Can you tap that X button real quick? I want to see what the gold difference is like. Hey, look at that. Look at how much gold APA has. 3K in advantage against Wolfie. There is a 1,500 gold lead for Iconic, but I mean, like, my god. There's also a 3,000 gold lead for Pie Cake Lord as well. There's 6K gold lead just from the solo laners alone for Supernova. They're just putting in so much work this game. You can put it down now. I appreciate you, Joe. Thank you. You are my eyes this game, literally, as whatever you see, I see, except I see through things like if I'm, you know, I am somewhat buzzed, and you know, I was about to say it's like watching through those like drunk vision goggles that you have for driver's ed, because it's really blurry, it's really pixelated. Crystal Enchanted Arrow goes wide as the rest of the members of Supernova trying to crash into the turret. Find a Deathman is down on the Wolfie, and it looks like he's just going to be evaporated in place. Curtain Call will come out. The Call of the Forge God is also going to come in, finds a 5-man knock up under the members of Supernova, but do they have the damage to back it up? But no! Evan RL just on a one-man army puts them all in their place and forces them away from the inhibitor turret, and just like that, Supernova are able to take it down and march on forward towards this inhibitor.
Yeah, they should be able to break this inhibitor. I don't know if they're going to be able to break the base. They do have double cannon minions here, but super minions coming in aren't going to do too much. PCL utilizing the Stormbringer to almost slam right down onto Maryville's chances of getting back into this game as we're looking to try and break onto the base. Requiem. Ooh,
Requiem.
Deathly Flourish. That was a Deathly Flourish. My brain. My brain.
Well, APA got a little too close for comfort, is going to get locked down here and taken down, but the final Mountain Dragon, potentially Mountain Soul for Maryville University, is up in the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds. For them, they want to wait until the dragon spawns before they look to take a fight, or hopefully they can prevent a fight and just take it and wait for Supernova to be on the other side of the map, hopefully, but obviously that's not going to happen. Supernova, however, definitely want to be in the advantageous position, look to fight right on top of it, or what is Baron?
What win is Baron? 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Oh, so it's literally it's like 30 seconds away from a Mountain Dragon spawning. So,
45 seconds.
Well, Void Staff has been completed by Mr. APA, so not even Niles can escape the punishing damage that Requiem can do. And you know what? I don't know how APA has been positioning in fights, but I just want to see him flash forward, put the wall down, and just sit on top of them and pop Skittles. Just really, really give them the experience of tasting the rainbow.
Jesus. You know, he has been doing that in some of those fights. We saw it a little bit earlier. Speaking about APA, talking about his lead, he is... oh, that's really sad that I don't get to see his exact experience numbers, but he is very close to level 16. I can't imagine he won't get it on this wave, if not the next one. But level 16 Karthus, who already has 3 of his AP items, is going to be incredibly dominant as we see Supernova breaking the rest of the map. And right now, Maryville need to scramble to find an answer. They are going to be 7,000 gold in disadvantage. While they do have 3 dragons to their name, it is not going to be enough right now because they're close to a Mountain Soul, but this right here kind of exacerbates the point of, man, having a Dragon Soul really means nothing when we're super far behind. it's incredibly fortunate that you were able to get those. And I did predict, obviously, that, hey, we would probably see 3 of those dragons going over in favor of Maryville before we start to see things change. But considering how this early game has gone, it's almost, it's like they took the dragons because there was nothing else on the map for them to have. Supernova must have been resetting at the time as they go for an engage.
Well, we have an engage, as you said, on the side take but he's able to get out thanks to the dark passage, and now they're going to look to turn the fight around. Curtain Call is trying to get the souls down, but look at the damage that comes out from Stormbringer, and now the members of MNRL and API are just pushing forward. They're looking to pop skills on top of them, looking to fire arrows one after another. Nas is able to trade one back down onto Clyde, but API is going to take his life for it. It's the support in the top lane are down for Maryville University. Iconic, Wolfie, and oh my gosh, I'm blank. Value. I couldn't read the screen for some reason. You know, pixelated screen, by the way. Inhibitor will fall for Maryville University, but they're looking to turn things around. MNRL just staying a little too long forward. Iconic is going to be able to get the damage down onto APA, but he's still sitting in the defile. You gotta be careful when you're taking. Oh my god!
Lay down the Skittles, boys.
I'm telling you, man, the Skittles hurt, man. This isn't one of those just normal commercials. When you taste the rainbow, you really do taste the rainbow.
You gotta taste the pain. It is. I mean, I don't know why they're sitting there. Really beautiful job from APA. It was really well timed that the way it actually ends up crashing right where they're about to fight. Trying to play around the Graves passive is really dangerous, and what would have ended up stopping Iconic from maybe getting out in time and not wasting so much time trying to kill the Karthus. But he's itemized, he's got his Black Cleaver, his Warrior Enchant, he's got his RFC, so he's able to do a lot of damage to someone who's not building too much armor. And while Supernova are able to pick themselves up a dragon, the best part about this for Maryville is how many kills they were able to pick up on the backside there. They got a little bit of a cash injection for themselves, and they can start to plant their feet a little bit. Value is sitting on a Last Whisper. He's going to be finishing that item relatively quickly. He's on 1,300 gold, and they need to finish these items before that Baron gets started. I think overextending into this mid wave is incredibly dangerous, especially Value with no summoner spells.
Maryville University poised. Oh, we have a long-range arrow going down onto Niles. He's going to be the first one to absorb a lot of the damage. Curtain Call is trying to provide some slow spell. The Forge God is needed to be able to get the knockup down. Lands on the 3 members, but Niles will eventually fall. And now it's to MNRL. He's looking to put the damage down into the second member of the front line. Iconic is the one far forward along with Shady, but it's a double kill for MNRL, and now he's just free hitting one after another. It's a triple kill, looking potentially. Oh, and it's not a triple. APA is gonna scumbag take away the 3rd kill. I was ready to ramp up towards a penta. I could feel it in my bones, but just like that, Supernova are advantageous once again in their fight over Maryville University, and their eyes are on Baron.
Exactly. We saw the pings come out. Their ways are not particularly in order, so they will have to spend some of this unless they're looking to just straight run it down mid. The inhibitor should be respawning sooner rather than later. Iconic is here. They do have a ward that is here. They're doing this a little bit slower than maybe they would have expected. TP's coming in from Niles. They do not have Kel the Forge God. This could turn the game, at least slow it down.
Iconic is still sitting on the blast gun. Looks to go in one. He may have jumped the gun a little bit too early, but Niles is here. Look at the damage that's actually coming out from Iconic. He's doing so much work against MNRL. Remember, just because he is a very fed 80 carry doesn't mean that he does not have the resistances to be able to match up against a very, very terrifying shotgun man who's willing to just get up in your face and bust you down. That's going to force Supernova off the Baron, and we do have the next Mountain Dragon, not quite up in time to be able to take, but Supernova are no longer in position to contest the Baron. They're going to have to face check it if Maryville University started up.
Yeah, I don't think Maryville are going to start this up. They want to get some resets. I want to take a look at, so they want to just make sure that they're re-upped on gold. You take a look at Iconic. He has full bought just now after he had his executioners. He just full bought a Lord Dominic's. He is trying to carry this game as hard as possible. We are seeing what happens when Iconic is given tools to succeed. Most of the time, what we've seen, even with this great first pick, is not too many tools are given to him to try to kind of play in these team fights. And most of the time, it's fine because Wolfie has a much more dominant laning phase. Niles typically is much more of a carry, and you have more resources gone up into there, and it's fine. And this Graves kind of plays, hey, I'm farming all my waves. I don't really need to gank any of my laners. They're going to mechanically outplay them. But this time around, given Wolfie, Wolfie's like, all right, well, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm playing the karma. Graves is looking on point. He gets a free shield, and like you were saying, Ashe is ahead, but Ashe is not that far ahead. And even against her lane opponent, she's 50 CS down, and in gold, they've only gotten relatively even thanks to how many kills and assists Evan have picked up in the past couple minutes.
There is one thing that is on my mind as we... Oh, thank you, Joe. I was actually just about to ask for that once again. APA has climbed to a individual 5,000 gold lead advantage over Wolfie. Granted, he is playing Karma. We all knew that he was going to be taking more of a low econ resource this game and funneling more of the gold into Iconic, who has climbed to about a 3,000 gold advantage over Odd Orange. But the biggest thing is that APA, I believe, has just finished his Rabadon's Death Cap. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. And now the biggest thing, Dimitri, can Karthus still one-shot value through a Mountain Soul shield? Because I think the answer is no. So that's why Maryville University desperately need to make sure that they claim this soul.
So even with penetration, taking a look, AP does 900 damage, is not counting for penetration. And the Mountain Soul, he has 2 mountains. He also has, he has some magic resist of his own. I don't think it's gonna save him. It is going to do a massive chunk, and that's what we saw in the last fight. That champions like Iconic on the Graves, all that is we're looking for a fight. This could be the game.
Oh, the Forge God once again. They got a massive wombo combo, baby. It's just knockups and bounce house, baby. 5K Lord has to flash out of there because he cannot front for the amount of damage that is coming out. Oh, no, look at Iconic. Karthus is able to get the massive amount of damage. It's a double kill down on the Value and Shady as well. Value is able to trade it back onto Clyde. APA, where was AP in that fight? I'm literally telling you guys that.
He was waiting in the wings. He had to back up. It was looking like such a good fight for them. And I was saying, okay, no one's touching Value, but the Leandri's proc as well as Dark Harvest all lead up to an amazing team fight victory for the side of Supernova. And in trade for the Baron, they're able to pick themselves up a Mountain Soul, but they're going to need a little bit more protection from Supernova right now. Maryville on the ropes for trying to get back into this game.
Well, Dimitri, I have a question for you. Supernova, after winning that fight, had the option to take the Mountain Dragon, but instead they went for the Baron, and that did give Mountain Soul over to Maryville University. Does this change?
No. Okay, look. So they got
baby.
Mountain Soul. Do you want to know how much magic resist Value got out of that?
0.
3. Oh, 3. He got 3 additional magic resist from his 40 that he had. And I'm not sure if Jin has magic resist growth per stat. I don't think so. Because he did level up. But Mountain Soul, Mountain Drake, the additional Mountain Drake, the extra 6% he got, gave him 3 magic resist. And APA not only has 700 AP thanks to Baron, but also has an elixir running right now. His ultimate does 1,000 damage, and Value has 1,800 health. And with how these fights are going, 800 health is not a lot to live on.
Even with that additional health shield, you think that Value's still not safe?
Nope.
Well, Value, I hope you get... What Value?
I hope he can fly more damage.
I'm going to say, Value, I hope you get to feel useful in the team fight while you can, because as soon as APA pops the ultimate and you don't have a way to be able to block that, and you are practically a sitting duck. We have Iconic trying to split against, I believe, Odd Orange on the bottom side of the map, just trying to continue using the Baron buff to corral them towards this open inhibitor on the bottom side of the map. Curtain Call is being used. I don't think there's really going to be anything gained out of it, but they're just stalling for now, trying to buy as much time from this Baron buff as possible. If Supernova cannot end on this push or find an engagement that they feel confident about taking, there is always the Elder Dragon win condition, Dimitri, and that is in 3 minutes. It's a whiles from now, but it can happen.
Yeah, the problem again was Supernova's waves were not in order, and that has been a problem so far, but now they finally have them, as we're looking for the potentially game-ending fight. Call the Forge God.
Oh, you can find some knockup, finds some members on 2. Redemption comes out, provides a little bit more healing time, but Just look at the damage that is coming out from Maryville University. Supernova just look to get the hell out of there. They do not want to take that fight at all. Clyde will be the falling member, and for Maryville University, they're feeling more confident than ever. They have been on the brink of losing this series for so long in this game, but now even in the face of a scaling Karthus who's approaching just one-shot potential with this ultimate, they are still holding on to the very, very thin strands of life that they have in this best of 3.
Yeah, and right now, Value is looking really nice. He hasn't quite leveled up during this entire 5-minute span, considering how many members have had to just sit mid and catch as much farm as possible. But that was the best case scenario. Yes, they lose their inhibitor on that push. They're able to get the kill. They do lose a lot of their jungle, but Value has finally picked himself up a stopwatch. He has both of his summoners available, and again, the onus right now to engage is on Supernova. If given the chance, Maryville will just take this opportunity to farm, to scale up, to continue to grab items, and Value has upgraded Molten Edge. Iconic has his Black Cleaver upgraded as well, and soon enough, Wolfie is getting to that Rabadons. I was thinking that this game wasn't going to go long enough. We are at 38 minutes. I want to take a look at gold. He is 200 gold away from upgrading this Rabadon's Death Cap, and that will be his upgraded item coming from Ornn. And suddenly, now we have this scaling composition that came out from the side of Supernova being met in the face of adversity by Maryville. They have not quite closed it out. They have great ways to engage fights. This Enchanted Crystal Arrow has not been, I don't think, utilized in the past couple minutes, maybe as a defensive tool, but it seems like Supernova are getting a little bit they're a little bit unsure on how they want to pull the trigger here, and I think they're just going to wait for this Elder Drake to potentially even fight around the objective and set up to try and get one last game, kind of game-defining fight.
Maryville University, a team that has been underperforming for the past few weeks in the SGC as a whole. They recently lost their series against Supernova last week in Focus. I believe the score was 3-1 in that best of 5. Now this is the time where Maryville University not only look for vengeance, but also to define themselves as a squad that is still worthy of being recognized as one of the top teams in the scouting ground circuit. Crystal Enchanted Arrow will start things off from Supernova. They get the engage down onto Shady, but he's going to absorb as much as he can. Call of the Forge God will look for a knockup, and it's going to push Supernova back and away. There's not enough damage to be able to answer back. Flash comes out from Shady looking for the dredge line. It forces APA's own flash. Evan RL also having to burn his own flash to be able to escape certain harm. Elder Dragon is now up on the table. Engagement has been burned from both sides, but remember, Requiem is still on the table for APA if he needs to pop it, but Value still also has bought a stopwatch to prevent that damage if it is necessary.
Yeah, no summoners were blown from him. Shady had to blow his flash, but they have Evan's flash down. They have APA's flash down. It is really difficult if this Ornn ultimate has time. They're TPing in the top lane. I think they might be looking to try and force for something. APA, I think, going for a split push here. No one is able to answer him. He's good. They can't do this right now from the side of Supernova.
All the Odd Orange almost gets caught out by the engagement from Maryville University, but now they're caught. Niles has to answer a Always Plan Ahead. He doesn't die to Always Plan Ahead, but he doesn't necessarily have the means to be able to kill him as they lock him down. He actually flashes. Meanwhile, we have an engagement going down back out into the river. Members are getting critically low for the side of Supernova. It's a huge shutdown onto Odd Orange. The first death in the game. It might be the last death in the game, depending on how well the rest of the fight goes. Valley is able to pick up another one onto Clyde, and now APA has to recall, has to be able to come back and join up with the ranks of this team to respond. But Pie Cake Lord is now rounded off. He doesn't get the Stormbringer over the wall, has to burn the flash, but he's gonna get run down by Value, is able to lock him down for the shutdown. And just like this, Maryville University, they might have the numbers to finally end this game, to answer all the haters who have been doubting their performances in the past 2 weeks, but looking for vengeance, looking for redemption against this Supernova squad. They will finally take them down 2-1 and continue in Risen Champions.
Supernova just goes super boom! Oh my god. The TP from APA ends the game. They were thinking, okay, we're in a position, but Evan RL has no flash. Clyde is not able to find an engage, and Odd Orange goes down so fast. The Graves went unanswered, and again, the onus to engage was on the side of Supernova. Oh my god, Maryville, they had their scaling composition when they wanted to. They had no one was able to answer Iconic or Wolfie, and Value stopped being the target of a lot of the tools from the side of Supernova. They just completely fell apart when it came down to the wire right there.
Woo! Oh my god! Maryville University, their backs were against the wall for so long, and they held their ground. They made the correct macro calls. They made sure to accumulate the dragons, and it just got to the point where it wasn't really a question of we can't kill Value. I'm pretty sure that if they were able to dive him, it was possible. But the biggest problem was Iconic was huge, massive. He was so
He's 17,000
fed.
gold. He has 17,000 gold. He has he's almost 200 CS over Odd Orange, level 18 to level 16. He's about to pick up a lifesteal item, whether it's Death Dance, doesn't really matter. No one's able to deal with the Graves, who has a Karma that's sitting on top of him with free stats being given over to him. Finally, this Graves pick kind of comes up huge. This means that Maryville will go on to face Radiance next week for semifinals. And that TP from APA is probably going to haunt Supernova, or at least this Karthus for at least a little bit. I can't exactly say to how long, but that TP ended the game. Niles immediately just walks over, solo kills him, and Evan, with no flash from that previous engage onto Shady, onto Shady and onto Clyde, ends up losing them the game. So Supernova, they had shaped up and they had sharpened some of their gameplay. They had sharpened up. They'd said, hey, we're going to stop just permanently fighting when it comes to 25 minutes. They had gone a lot better. They even beat, again, in a best of 5, they beat Maryville 3-1. And
they get the revenge arc.
Yeah, I'm just speechless. The Maryville versus Radiance fight is also going to be, is with the UPL lower bracket too. So it's just there's going to be a lot of repeat matches, a lot of teams facing each other multiple times, and this was not the way that I thought Supernova were going to lose this series. And I don't think any of us could have seen that coming.
In Smash Brothers, this phenomenon where you lose a bunch of times against the opponent earlier on in the week and then you beat them is called download complete. Maryville University had to take the beating against Supernova in focus because they knew that it was much more important to beat them in Risen. I don't know how the qualifier points worked out. Maybe that was the angle. But all right, I'm getting intel from producer that the qualifier points are the same. So I still stand by the fact that the download was complete by Maryville University. They finally understood how to play against Supernova. With that being said, I am a huge fan of the Karthus pick. I think there is some mixed executions from the team as a whole for the macro in that mid-late game, but this Karthus pick was actually pretty nutty because it fits right into the wheelhouse of Always Plan Ahead. Someone who loves to be able to just easily farm the wave super quickly, and he doesn't have to roam. He can just press R, and that makes the roam happen for him.
He was still roaming. He was nuts.
Yeah.
He showed up to fights. I'd say that, the first 25 minutes of that game, beautiful from Supernova. The last couple minutes, the last 25, not impressive. And I don't know what happened to Volibear and Ash, but both of those ultimates were used pretty defensively in the last 2 fights. And I don't think that that's exactly how Supernova want to try and win or how they're going to get back into that game. It's kind of disheartening, I won't lie.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on the Risen Champions broadcast. Congratulations to Maryville for being able to continue on forward into the league. We're going to have to say our unfortunate goodbyes to Supernova as they exit, but I will have to say that in terms of just overall progression, I think both of these squads have definitely shown a lot of promise. Maryville more so today than recent weeks, but at least Supernova has still been turning up, and they still have a couple more leagues to be able to fight for qualifier points in. So the road is not done for them in terms of the SG circuit as a whole. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, my co-caster Dimitri, our wonderful producer Joe, who is living it up at his amazing house.
On the intro.
Yeah, what once Corona ends, guys, Joe's gonna invite us all to his house, and we're gonna all have a Risen after party to celebrate. It's gonna be fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you all for tuning in to tonight's cast here on twitch.tv/Risen_Esports for the Champions League. Have a wonderful evening.